excited over the Matt Adams home run, and rightly so, but the Blues open tomorrow night at home against the New York Rangers. And we have some tickets for the Calgary game to give away today. We'll tell you as we go along how you can get those tickets. Calgary is in town to play the Blues on Saturday. So if you're interested in that, we've got some tickets to give away to you. We're just full of all things good today, and some people would think we're full of other things. But I prefer to think we're full of all things good. That's always better if we're full of all things good. And we'll be full of all things good all day. The ball game yesterday, unbelievable, wasn't it? There are people who are going to say, well, you know, it was the 3 days rest that Kershaw had, and that's why he faltered. That's not true. That couldn't be further from the truth. If 3 days rest was going to bother him, he wouldn't have pitched 6 one-hit innings. I mean, he got a one-hitter through 6 innings. He was dominant. I think it's mental with Kershaw. The irony of ironies is that in game 1, he's coasting along with a 6-1 or 6-2 lead, and the 7th inning begins, and who's up to lead off but Holiday, followed by Peralta, followed by Adams. Same thing here. Holiday leads off, followed by Peralta. I think it got in his head. I think as we sit here today with a 1-5 postseason record and a 5+ earned run average for Kershaw, I think he's one of the biggest postseason chokers of all time. Now, you can take a look at his regular season record, and it's sterling. It is Koufax-like, but his playoff and postseason performances are horrific. How does a guy become that bad? Well, he doesn't. It's mental. He's still the same pitcher. You saw it for 6 innings, both games, especially yesterday. He was more dominant for 6 innings yesterday than he was in L.A. in game 1, and he had all the rest in the world in that game. So the 3 days rest thing is a bunk. We can debunk that right now. That had nothing to do with yesterday. What had to do with yesterday is Kershaw having it in his head. Holiday got a hit. I hope this doesn't happen again. Boom, hit from Peralta, and neither one of them were screechers. Both of them tipped off infielders' gloves, so I'm sure that added to his frustration. But then you've got Adams up, who hadn't hit a home run off a left-hander, I don't think, all year. And you hang a breaking ball right in his wheelhouse, and he knew what to do with it. Now, here's where the Dodgers also lost the game. When they scored their second run against Shelby Miller, of course, these managers are just so laughable. I don't know how these guys get jobs, but boy, are we all in the wrong business. Multi-million-dollar deals awaiting you to manage a big league ball club. And if you're not smarter than these guys, then you're one of the dumbest people on earth. Here you have Shelby Miller pitching a great game. And so Matheny takes him out after one of his pitches barely nicks the jersey of Hanley Ramirez, and then he walks a guy. So he takes him out in the 6th inning. Now, here's where the Dodgers lost the game. Predictably, Uribe greets the first reliever with a double that drives in 1. And now here comes Ethier with 2 outs, should have scored, make the throw, make the defense throw the ball, but the Dodgers chose not to. Ethier would have made it home. They hold him at third. Even the players in the dugout were wheeling their arms around trying to wave him in, but not the Dodger brain trust. They hold him at third, where he's then picked off. Inexplicably, by the way, the third base umpire totally missed that call, called him safe. The umpires who are working in this series shouldn't be allowed to work again. If you're not accountable like everybody else in this world is, I don't get it. I don't understand why umpires are not held accountable. These guys were horrific, and they were horrific both ways. I mean, in L.A., they missed Colton Wong tagging a guy with an open glove, and the ball in his other hand was obvious to everybody except the umpire. Yesterday at third base, Ethier was out. It wasn't even close. Obvious to everyone except the third base umpire. And how about the pitch, the strike zone again in the 9th inning? Guys had to hit the ball off their shoe tops in order to get a call. If you weren't swinging at a ball off your shoe tops, it was going to be a strike. Now, did the umpires lose the series for the Dodgers or win it for the Cardinals? No, because they were bad both ways. They were just as bad regarding the Cardinals as they were regarding the Dodgers. But they were awful. That's as badly an umpired series as I've ever seen. And it wasn't just one guy. So something has to be done about that. We'll talk with Ron Culp about the experience of being an umpire in playoffs and World Series. He worked the 2011 World Series, which the Cardinals won over the Texas Rangers. And now he's going to be in probably the most exciting environment in the postseason this year, and that is Kansas City and Baltimore, two teams that have been without the playoffs for years, for decades, almost 30 years for the Royals. And so Ron Culp is going to be right in the center of that excitement, and I can imagine Kansas City will be a rocking. But so will Camden Yards. That's going to be a fun series to watch. I said on Monday, the simple thing for the Dodgers and the Cardinals and the two teams is the Cardinals guys come through, the Dodgers guys don't. And it was no more evident than Monday night and yesterday afternoon. Colton Wong hits a 2-run homer late. Again, Don Mattingly blowing the game. In a 4-game series, Mattingly blew 3 of them. And he won one of those that he blew. He blew game 1 by leaving Kershaw in there. He blew the lead in game 2 by taking Greinke out. And he blew the game in game 3 by taking Ryu out. You know your bullpen's horrible. Ryu throws 6 innings, 1 run. Let's get him out of there. Greinke throws 7 shutout innings in a 2-hitter. Got to get him out of there. I don't know how Mattingly could be a manager. I really don't. But then look over in Washington where Matt Williams resides. Takes Jordan Zimmerman out after 8 2/3 shutout innings. After the guy had retired 19 in a row, he had a bang pitch that missed, and he walked the guy in the 9th inning, and Matt Williams takes him out, lose the game, lose the series. I mean, Bruce Bochy shines compared to these other managers. Ned Yost is an imbecile in Kansas City. Buck Showalter's a pretty good manager. You got Showalter and Bochy. It may end up that's the World Series. They certainly are the 2 best managers left by default, but they're definitely the best. I mentioned the Blues opening tomorrow night here against the Rangers. That game is here, by the way. Mizzou is at home against Georgia. That's a 11 o'clock? I think that's an 11 o'clock kickoff, against Georgia. Todd Gurley, of course, is going to play for Georgia. He didn't play last year when Missouri got fortunate. Gurley was out, so were their 3 top receivers. This time around, Gurley will be there. We'll see how Missouri handles him. Did you see the comments of Scott Rowland? The Cardinals, in a very classy move, called Scott Rowland up in Bloomington, Indiana, and invited him to come in and throw out the first ball yesterday. He threw out the first pitch to Adam Wainwright, his former teammate. And I thought that was a very classy move on the part of the Cardinals to bring him in and have him throw out the first pitch, especially when you consider the way his career ended here, thanks to LaRouche back. We all remember how that went down, that LaRouche bag had it in for Rowland and wasn't about to allow that deal to continue. And so the Cardinals traded Rowland. Rowland had to give permission. So, that shows you how badly Rowland wanted out of here. Keep that in mind. Here's a guy who had a no-trade clause. He wanted to finish his career as a Cardinal. And he okays a trade to get away from LaRouche bag and to get away from Pujols, because that was the instigator in the entire deal, Pujols. Rowland confronted Pujols in the dugout after Pujols refused to run out ground balls, and LaRouche sided with Albert Pujols. That was the beginning of the end for Scott Rowland, and at that point, he basically couldn't wait to get out. And he did. First to Toronto, but then to Cincinnati, where he excelled again in leading the reps. And by that time, Rowland's shoulder was so bad that there wasn't much left, but he still played very well for the Reds in getting them into the playoffs a couple of times, if I'm not mistaken. And the one year when they won the division, that was the year they ran into that buzzsaw, Roy Halladay, who threw the no-hitter against them in his first playoff appearance. So that was brutal if you're him, the Cardinals. But nonetheless, Scott Rowland's exit from here wasn't a fun thing for him. He didn't want to do it, but then it was so bad that he went ahead and did it. But here's what he had to say when he came back in town yesterday. He says, "This is a special place, St. Louis, and also representative of a special time for my family. I signed to finish my career here. I signed an 8-year contract with a complete no-trade clause, After 5.5 to 6 years, we mutually parted ways. It was the best thing at the time for both. I believe it was an untenable situation. It was going to be a situation because you don't want to be a bad teammate. You never want to be that guy. We were headed in the same direction, but on different tracks. He was talking about La Russa. It shouldn't have been awful, but it just went the wrong way, and it escalated. We had such good teams here for so long, and when I say good, I mean on the field, obviously, but we were friends. When we weren't here, it was a good group of grown adults playing baseball and growing up together. Wow. So Roland doesn't sugarcoat it. It was an untenable situation. Nice going, LaRouche bag. Nice going.
That guy is a jerk.
Hey, I hear a lot of people talking about what a great postseason pitcher John Lackey is, and then I saw his record. He's 7-5 in the postseason. He has a 2.92 in run average, which is fantastic, but he's 7-5. To hear people talk, you'd think he was 12-0. I'll tell you who is undefeated in the postseason, and that's the Giants' Ryan Vogelsong. He's 4-0 with a scintillating earned run average, under 2. Now, that's a postseason record, and the Cardinals will have to face him. He dominated them in 2012. This Giants rotation is unbelievable. You've got Bumgarner, Peavy, who's reignited his career, rediscovered himself under Bruce Bochy, who managed him in San Diego. Then you have Vogelsong and Hudson. Hudson's your last guy? Wow, that's a starting staff. By the way, their bullpen doesn't resemble the Dodgers. And the Giants seem to hit in the clutch, and they are kind of like the Cardinals. They do what it takes to win. They don't overpower you, but they get the hits when they need to. Now, the Cardinals seem to own the Dodgers. All the evidence is there to make that statement. But the Giants seem to own the Cardinals, and all the evidence is there to make that statement. Remember, they bombed Wainwright earlier in the year in St. Louis, winning 3 out of 4. And if some of these rumblings coming out of the Cardinal clubhouse about Adam Wainwright's health are true, it makes it even more precarious for the Cardinals. I predicted the Cardinals would beat the Dodgers. I think they would have beaten the Nationals. I don't think they'll beat the Giants. I think the Royals will beat the Orioles. Bob Costas said to me one time during the 2004 playoff run of the Red Sox, they're on the destiny train. And anybody who gets in their way, as it was proven, you're down 3 games to none to the Yankees, they win 4 in a row. Then they sweep the Cardinals. That was the destiny train after about 100 years of not winning a championship. The very next year, the White Sox jumped on the destiny train. After about 85 years of not winning, they won. Well, now the Royals seem to be destiny's darlings. The great comeback win against the A's in the play-in game, the 3-game sweep of the heavily favored Angels, in which the Royals dominated, and now they get the Orioles. I look for the Royals to advance to the World Series, but I think the Giants will be the stumbling block that would end the Cardinals season. We'll see. That's why they play the games. But that Dodger group, I don't get it. Don't understand that at all. And Clayton Kershaw, as I said, he's now got the record to make the case that he's one of the great chokers of postseason history. That's all you can say about it. I hear people say today, I don't want to say that he's – well, he is choking. Why wouldn't you want to say it? It's obvious. 1 in 5 in the postseason with an earned run average over 5? You face the exact same situation yesterday that you did last Friday. Any athlete worth his salt is chomping at the bit to redeem himself, and kaboom, he implodes again. Wow. I would say, and I know these hits get lost, but two of the biggest hits in this series just concluded were Matt Holliday's leadoff single in Game 1 in the 7th inning and Matt Holliday's leadoff single yesterday in the 7th inning. They don't look like much, but they were so important in the demise of Clayton Kershaw. And you might throw in Peralta's follow-up back-to-back singles in each game, in each situation. Because those were the ones that started getting people worried. Obviously, Matt Adams hits the big 3-run homer. It reminded me of the situation in 2011 World Series. If you remember, after David Freese had tied it with that triple in the 9th inning with 2 outs, in the 10th inning, Josh Hamilton hits a 2-run homer. Now the Cardinals are 2 down again. And if you remember, they scored 2 runs in the bottom of the inning, the big game-tying RBI single with 2 outs and 2 strikes from Lance Berkman. But it was John Jay and Daniel Descalso who had gotten singles back-to-back to start that bottom half of the inning. So people tend to forget those hits that set it up. But I thought Holiday's hit leading off the 7th inning yesterday was probably the biggest one of the series, if not for his leadoff single in the 7th inning of Game 1. Both led to the takedown of Clayton Kershaw. And Peralta's follow-up back-to-back singles in both situations, equally important. All right, we're going to take a break. I know Alan is waiting, but we're behind on time. Alan, you can call back right after we talk with Ron Kulpa. But the umpire, Ron Kulpa, will join us. He's working the American League Championship Series in Baltimore and Kansas City this week. And we'll talk with Ron when we come back.
This is a beer ad for guys who like drinking beer with their buddies and hanging out and high-fiving each other while hanging out and drinking beer. But this is a beer ad for a different type of beer with a refreshing taste of apple. Red's Apple Ale. It's just the right amount of different. So this beer ad doesn't end with 4 dudes doing a quadruple high five because honestly, who does that? Crisp like an apple, brewed like an ale. Red's Apple Ale. Pick different. Red's Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
Dirty Dancing, the record-breaking live theater sensation, is finally here. Relive the magic of Johnny and Baby's classic love story live on stage. Spectacular dancing, passionate romance, and all your favorite songs from the movie. Dirty Dancing. Don't miss it. You'll have the time of your life.
At the Fabulous Fox, October 21st through November 2nd in the U.S. Bank Broadway Series. Get your tickets today through MetroTix.
Big Daddy's on the Landing presents the 6th annual Boogeyman Cash Bash Halloween weekend. That's right, Halloween night and a special bounce back Saturday night party. Come down, drink, eat, party with the costume on both nights at Big Daddy's and get in one of our 3 contests per night. Best overall costume, sexiest ladies, and best group or couple. Contests start after 1 a.m., but get here early to avoid the lines. Check out BigDaddySTL.com for more info.
In the nation, sometimes. But add brand new belongings from Nationwide Insurance and we'll replace destroyed items in your home with brand new versions. We put members first. Join the nation.
Nationwide is on your side.
To get your Nationwide insurance quote, text the word car quote to 51660.
Optional feature. Exclusions and limits apply. Damaged items may be repaired in some cases. Consult policy language for specifics. Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
This Saturday, October 18th and Sunday the 19th, come dream and look around the giant flea market while finding your treasures at the Belclair Expo Center, 200 South Bell East in Belleville. The best flea market anywhere. You name the item and it's probably there. So come find it, whatever it might be, at the Belclair Expo Center this weekend. This is a can't miss event at the Belclair Expo Center this Saturday and Sunday. Treasures await you.
We welcome you back in. Kevin Slayton with you on the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Coming your way from the Marshall Wireless Sprint store on Telegraph Road, right here on 590 The Man and TalkSTL.com, streaming live on TalkSTL.com. Just download that free app, and it's got on your phone. You can take us everywhere you go. If you pre-order your iPhone here at the Marshall Wireless Sprint stores, any one of them around our town, you get the exclusive iPhone for Life plan, $70 a month for life, unlimited everything. That includes the cost of your new phone, and they'll pay your cancellation fee elsewhere up to $350. Wow. Again, you'll never beat that. All right, folks, we welcome into the show a friend of ours and a friend of the show, Ron Kulpa, who's a Major League umpire and has been for several years now. You're over 11, 12 years now, aren't you, Ron?
Hi, Kevin. Yeah, I'm in my 16th season.
16th season. Wow, that's fantastic. We're glad you could join us because I know you're working the American League Championship Series starting in Baltimore, and, of course, Kansas City is involved in that. Were you able to work enough games this year of these two teams that you're familiar with them, or were you not able to get around to them?
Hey, Kevin, I don't know if you can hear me, but I'm having a hard time hearing you, buddy.
Okay, can you hear me better now, Ron? Or
No, there's a big echo. I can barely hear you.
All right, let's disconnect and we'll call you right back.
You got it.
All right, we're going to do that so we can get a better connection with Ron as he gets set to work the Royals and the Orioles series, which is coming up beginning tomorrow, Friday. They start Friday. Of course, the American and National Leagues rotate days. You won't have two games on the same day. Cardinals will go Saturday. Well, you might have two games on the same day over the weekend, but they try to spread it out in the championship series, the league championship series, so you don't have too many conflicts where you can watch both games. And it worked out well this year in the division series because two of them were sweeps. So the Cardinals weren't saddled with a noon game any of those times, although I think those are fun in the playoffs myself. But yesterday's 4 o'clock game our time, unfortunately had some shadows creeping in at the beginning of the game, and that is difficult to hit. Shelby Miller and Clayton Kershaw both benefited from that in the early innings. But then by the time the later innings rolled around, those shadows were gone, and we were able to watch what happened and unfolded in the seventh inning. It's almost historical when you see a pitcher of Kershaw's caliber get rocked in the seventh inning of both of his starts by the Cardinals. And I don't know, I guess you'd have to talk to Kershaw in an honest moment and find out what he thinks going up against the Cardinals in a playoff game now, because from this point forward, it's got to be in his head. If they ever play again, and chances are they will, because they're both going to be playoff caliber teams in the upcoming years in this National League, which is so watered down, but they're probably going to meet again. Owen, is Ron ready? Now I've lost Owen. Go ahead, man. Okay. All right, Ron, are you there?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. Super. Well, we're glad you could join us. I know you're working the American League Championship Series in Baltimore and in Kansas City. Are you pretty familiar with those two teams? Did you get a chance to work many of their games this year?
Yeah, I got to see them both. Baltimore's a typical American League team. They hit for a lot of power. They rely on the home run ball, and that ballpark there that they play in, that ball carries pretty good. And I was talking to a buddy of mine today about this Kansas City team, and they're more of a National League type team. They got some guys who can run a little bit, and they play more of a National League style baseball. They got good defense, so it should be a good series.
As an umpire, do you like that style better? Because if you're a base umpire and you've got a Royals game, chances are pretty good you're going to get a lot of action because they're going to be taking the extra base. They're going to be trying to steal bases. I guess that keeps that makes it fun for the umpire, I would think.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes. They'll run a little bit more. They'll play hit and run, and I do like that style of ball better. I think it's a lot more exciting. I love the way the National League plays the game a little bit more than the American League. They attack, they hit and run, and the American League type teams, they sit back and they wait for that 3-run home run.
Ron Culpa's visiting with us. He's working the Royals-Orioles series. These postseason assignments are becoming regular for you, Ron. Congratulations on another prime assignment.
Thanks a lot. I appreciate it. It's always fun to get out there and work, and it's just a blast. It's a long season, it's a long haul, and you put that much work into it. It's great to be rewarded, and I'm looking excited to get to Baltimore tomorrow, and it should be exciting in Kansas City. I'm living here in St. Louis. I got a few of my buddies and my dad driving up to enjoy the games up there in Kansas City, so it should be rocking, and I'm looking forward to getting at it.
That'll be a blast. And, of course, I'd mentioned before you came on, you had worked the 2011 World Series with the Cardinals and the Rangers. That's the thrill of a lifetime, obviously, but here you are in the championship series. How do these assignments get handed out? Is it based on a merit system, Ron, or is it seniority?
It's basically in the first round they put a lot more new guys in. They'll usually put about 6 to 8 new guys in the first round that haven't worked a lot of playoff games, so they get some experience. The second round, the LCS, they'll put more of a senior staff out there, and it's basically done on evaluations. We get evaluated throughout the year. We've had some injuries this year, so some senior guys aren't working, so we've got a few more guys out there getting the feet wet. But we're all evaluated on a game basis, on every play, on every pitch, and they pick their guys, and that's how they make their assignments.
Now, for the World Series, can an umpire who works a previous round, can they also be chosen for the World Series, or would that be an entirely new crew?
Well, you can't work back-to-back. You can't work back-to-back rounds. So they had 24 guys working this first round and just finished up. So they'll pick 6 out of those 24, and whoever worked that first round won't work the LCS, and then us 12 guys in the LCS, we're not eligible for the World Series. So they'll make their assignments. The World Series picks come out either tomorrow or Friday, and those 6 guys will be rewarded for their performances.
You know, people talk about the players getting prepared and you know, the adrenaline starts to flow in these postseason games. I would imagine it's the same for you guys.
Kevin, you were breaking up. I didn't hear what you said, buddy.
I was talking about the adrenaline for the players as they get ready for postseason games. They're fired up. I would imagine that feeling carries over to the umpires too, doesn't it?
Well, it's exciting. It's a thrill. You know, I took my son down to the game the other night. It was a couple nights ago down in St. Louis, and just sitting by him and watching the game of baseball is a thrill. It's a big thrill to be picked to work the playoffs. And you know, the juices get flowing, and you walk out there, and the stadiums are rocking. You can feel the electricity when you're driving to the ballpark, and it's a big honor. And I love this time of year, and this is what you work hard for.
Ron, as you get ready and your assignment was known to you for this American League Championship Series, do you pay closer attention to the teams that might be involved to try to maybe get your own little scouting report on how pitchers do things?
No, not really a scouting report. You know, I did log on today to see if the teams set the rotations yet. I saw the Shields going game 1. I think Tillman's going for Baltimore, and I've got the plate in game 4. So I looked ahead to see if they set the rotations yet for when I have the plate. And I didn't see anything out there yet. But, yeah, I look around just to see who the rotations are. And, you know, I think I've seen each team 10 to 12 times this year, so I know what kind of baseball they play and, you know, what guys can run a little bit, which guys hit, you know, certain fields. And, you know, both bullpen. You know, a guy comes out of a bullpen, you know this guy's going to come out through 100, 101. And so, yeah, you know, us umpires, we're smart about the teams that we go in at work and when who we're umpiring, and we know what their tendencies are.
Ron Culp, a Major League umpire, visiting with us, working the Royals and the Orioles series. He leaves tomorrow. The series starts on Friday night. Ron, what have the umpires made of the replay situation? To me, you know, they kept saying, I know that Tony La Russa said it was going to speed the game up, but to me it's simply slowed the game down. And I still I'm a big fan of human error. It allows for people to debate it. You know, you can talk about, wait a minute, I thought he blew that call, or no, I thought he got it right. And to me, that's a lot of fun. I still love the fact that people are talking about Don Denkinger because the Cardinals could play the Royals again.
Yeah, you know, that's some people like that stuff, but I will tell you this: as an umpire, we love it. We love replay. We think it's great. I mean, I think there's some kinks that need to be worked out that I think they'll work out this off season. You know, but when you walk on that field, and there's nothing worse than kicking a play and costing somebody a big game like Denkinger did in '85, and you know, I missed a play in the World Series a couple of years ago that went against the Rangers, and you know, having death threats against your family, and you know, seeing it over and over and over on ESPN, you cost some team a game, and you know, those days are over, and it's nice to have that extra thing in your back pocket to take that pressure off a little bit.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people thought the umpires wouldn't want it, but an extra set of eyes, I guess, is good, huh?
Yeah, I mean, everybody thought we were going to be controversial, and we got big egos, and we're not going to like it. But I tell you what, as a union, we love it. We think it's fantastic, and I think Major League Baseball has done a good thing with it. And like I said, there are a few kinks to work out, but overall, I think it's fantastic, and it's been great.
And it has worked to basically exonerate the umpires the majority of the time.
I'm sorry, Kevin. What did you say?
I say that the system has exonerated the umpires on the call the majority of the time, at least to my knowledge, as I've watched in general.
Yeah, we're all going to make mistakes, but it's there to help us out. And you know, like I said before, I think it's been great.
Ron Culpa visiting with us as he gets set to work the Orioles and the Royals. I think it's great for baseball, Ron, that those two teams are in the American League Championship Series, especially the Royals, because the money issues are always going to be there for a smaller market team. But I think baseball overall should be rejoicing about that matchup.
I agree totally. I was talking to some of our baseball friends. I'm sure a lot of people are excited to see two new teams in there besides the Yankees and the Red Sox. You know, the Royals have been building hard the last few years to build up the farm system. I think you're seeing the Cubs trying to do that now. There's a few more other teams. Minnesota's trying to get there. It's great for baseball. It's exciting for us, especially people in the American League. And I'm sure, you know, it's just exciting. You know, those big market teams that go out and spend a lot of money like the Dodgers just did, And it goes to show you, you go out and have the biggest payroll in baseball, and it doesn't do much for you. You got to go out there and perform.
You got to perform. You got to develop talent, and they've done that. And in the umpiring system, as you mentioned earlier, they like to work guys in, so that develops them. In situations that we've seen in some of these games, yesterday the pickoff at third base. In years past, the umpires would huddle, and last year in the World Series with the play at second base with Cosma, the umpires huddled. Does replay take that out of it, where another umpire may have seen it and come over and say, "Hey, hold on, we don't even need to check replay. I saw it. Maybe we could change it here."
Well, I think that's we will huddle on certain type of plays. I think they had a play. I forget which game it was in one of the first round, and another umpire came over and helped the guy out, and they ended up going to replay and confirming the call. But it's every once in a while, it's certain plays we'll still huddle on. But for the most part, when the manager comes out, he's going to look back at his pitch coach, and they're going to give him the thumbs up or the thumbs down, and we're going to move forward. And if they want to challenge, they're challenged. And that way, we're not trying to slow up the process. But if we got that replay in our back pocket, and they want to challenge us, that's the direction we're going with.
It's always been the unwritten rule, or maybe it is a written rule for all I know, that players don't challenge umpires on balls and strikes. We saw Matt Kemp the other night in the ninth inning when he was called out on back-to-back pitches. One was called a ball, one a strike. Most thought they were the same pitch. He really got into it with the home plate umpire, but he wasn't thrown out of the game. Is there a little bit more leeway that the umpires give players in postseason?
Yeah, a lot of leeway. Actually, before each series starts, like when we get to Baltimore on game one on Friday, we'll have a meeting with both managers. I'm sure Joe Torre will run the show up in Baltimore along with another supervisor, and we'll meet with these managers, and we'll tell them that, hey, we're going to give them some extra rope. That these are big games, a lot of emotions. These people are paying big money to see these players, but we also won't let them. We're not going to let them abuse us. As you saw the other night, there was 2 ejections with the Nationals game in the extra innings. Vic Carpazza ended up getting 2 guys, and we'll give them some extra rope, but we're still not going to stand out there and get abused.
Yeah, there's a line, maybe a different line, maybe a little bit further in the sand than it normally is, but there's still a line, I would imagine.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of pressure out there. There's a lot of money involved for these teams to win, and as umpires too, I go back to replay. Even though we got replay in our back pocket, we take a lot of pride. There's a lot more camera angles, a lot more pressure, and everybody's just out there trying to do the best they can.
Ron, when you're calling a bang play at first base, what is the umpire taught? Do you watch the base and listen for the sound? Is that how you'll try to rule on those bang plays?
No, you're looking at the bag and you're listening for 2 sounds. You can hear that there's 2 different sounds. You can hear the ball hitting the glove, and you can hear the foot in the bag. So we'll focus on the bag, and we'll listen for those 2 different sounds, and we'll go from there. It's and they're pretty. Easy. It's really easy for us to distinguish those 2 different sounds.
That's amazing in that in a roaring crowd, especially in a playoff atmosphere. You guys are that focused in. That's an amazing situation.
Yeah, it was a little different. Sometimes we used to have so many domes. I remember working in Tampa a few years ago in the playoffs when they were playing the White Sox. I had a close play first, and you really have to maybe get a little bit closer to the bag with the domes because everything was just so echoing in there. But for the most part, with these new stadiums, it's not as hard as it used to be.
Well, listen, my friend, have fun. We appreciate you spending some time with us and talking about the experience. I remember in 2011 what a great thrill it was for you and your family, and again this time. Have fun in Baltimore and KC. Those stadiums are going to be rocking.
Thanks, Kevin. I appreciate it, and I just want to say, thanks for all the support from all my friends out there as far as my career, and we're going to take it to the next level here and see how it goes.
Have fun, Ron.
All right, buddy. Thank you.
You betcha. That's Ron Culpa. He's a Major League umpire from right here in St. Louis, and he is working the American League Championship Series in Baltimore and Kansas City this next week. The first game, of course, is Friday night. They get up there a day ahead of time with those meetings, and away they go. What a thrill for both players and umpires. All right, we're going to come back in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. We're live at the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store on Telegraph Road. But if you're just riding around right now and your stomach's starting to growl, hey, there's got to be a locally owned Taco Bell close by with the great quesarito. That's their newest thing on the menu, the quesarito. But they've got the Dollar Crave menu. 11 different items for just $1 a piece. You can feed the whole family, maybe the whole neighborhood for $25. Certainly the whole family for $11. 11 items, $1 a piece on the Taco Bell Crave menu. But don't forget that quesarito and all your other favorites, the Doritos Locos Tacos, the classic Taco Bell on the inside, the shell made of real nacho cheese Doritos. That marriage with Doritos has been phenomenal for Taco Bell. Cool Ranch Doritos Tacos, the fiery Doritos Locos Tacos. They've got all the old standbys that we all love, too, the soft and hard shell tacos, the taco salad, the bean burritos. Don't forget that great breakfast club open for business at 7 in the morning. The fabulous steak and egg burrito, the wonderful Cinnabon Delights, the awesome waffle taco, the scintillating AM Crunch Wrap, the fabulous AM Grilled Taco, the spectacular sausage flatbread melt, and the always mouth-watering breakfast burritos. Those are all available at the Breakfast Club at Taco Bell. I love to support locally owned businesses, so it's locally owned Taco Bells that I frequent. In Chesterfield Valley, there's one. There's another one in Chesterfield on Olive. In Washington, Missouri, Union, St. Clair. Over in Illinois, Waterloo, Columbia, Troy, Illinois, Salem, Jerseyville, and the home of the Salukis, Carbondale, Illinois. Those are all locally owned Taco Bell locations. Back at the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store on Telegraph Road, in the Deerbergs Plaza, in the Past Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court, right after this.
In the sports world, a good offense starts with a good defense. Professionals at Lakeside Roofing believe in this same motto for your roof. Our full-time service department provides the defense to ensure that you get the most out of your roof system. A regular schedule of roof assessment and maintenance will ensure that your roof will hold up to harsh environment, particularly spring wind and hail, as well as the overall aging process. Included in the inspection is a personalized preventive maintenance program specific to your roof system. This defensive strategy can extend the life of your commercial or residential roof for many years. Choose the winning team of professionals at Lakeside Roofing. We're a family-owned business that has built a solid reputation for excellent service from the initial call to the completed job. Call us today at 618-344-2800 or 314-241-5253 or visit us on the web at lakesideroofing.com. That's lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience. Choose Lakeside.
Hot Shots in Arnold and now Webster Groves is the place for all the games all the time. Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves is your place for all your NHL action. Yes, the Blues are back. The NFL is in full swing as well as college football. NASCAR is winding down in point series and our Cards are back in the playoffs. At Hot Shots, you get the best food and drink specials to make the games as fun as being there. Looking for a perfect place for lunch? Well, Hot Shots will get you in and back to work fast after having a fantastic lunch. Get caught up on your sports and have great views of the beautiful servers. It's always a party every day at Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves. Hot Shots gives you every reason to hang out and enjoy yourself with golden tea, bags, beer pong, foosball, darts, and all kinds of other games. Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves has the game on 30 large HD TVs and the massive 105-inch screens, so you always have the best view anywhere in the place. Hot Shots in Webster Groves is on Watson at Laclede Station Roads. Hot Shots in Arnold is at 131 Arnold Crossroads Center, close to 55 and Jeffco Roads. Hot Shots in Arnold or Webster Groves, all the games, all the time.
More and more people are setting up prearranged funerals. I'm Kim Cutis for Cutis Funeral Home. The advantages of a Cutis prearranged funeral are many. Not only does it take that burden off your family, but it assures every aspect is taken care of. The Cutis prearrangement is done exactly as you want it. The price is frozen, and there are never additional costs or fees. Talk to me personally, Kim Cutis, or any of our professionals. There is never an obligation. Cutis Funeral Homes, affordability with dignity since 1910.
The USO of Missouri brings you the Red, Rock, and Blue Benefit Concert Sunday, November 16th at the Pageant. Tickets on sale now while they last to see Scotty McCreery along with Danielle Bradbury, country's newest superstars and winner of Season 10's American Idol and The Voice's Season 4. Together, VIP, general admission, and balcony seats. Call Ticketmaster or the Pageant box office today. The Red, Rock, and Blue Concert to benefit the USO of Missouri with Scotty McCreery and Danielle Bradbury live at the Pageant Theater Sunday, November 16th.
It's Red October at Big Daddy's, the best bar in the whole wide world. Big Daddy's is the place to be before, during, and after all home and away playoff baseball games. Check out our pregame, watch party, or postgame celebration party packages online at BigDaddySTL.com. Also, don't pay to park by the stadium. Make your house payment instead and take our totally free shuttle service to and from all Cards playoff games. BigDaddySTL.com.
Monday Night Football comes to St. Louis October 13th as our Rams take on the 49ers. The Miller Coors tailgate party will kick off in the north lot of the Dome at 4:30 and rock on until game time at 7:30. Cheap beer products, great food, and music. Proceeds from the sales going to help our troops through the USO of Missouri. Come join the fun and get primed for the game. Presented by Miller Coors, the USO of Missouri, AM 590 and 1380, as well as MLM Law Firm, Paul Cerami Kia Ford, Max Muscle Supplement Superstore of Brentwood, and Mastermind Vodka. Please remove those hats. You're in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court on 590 The Man.
And we welcome you back. Kevin Slayton with you in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. We are live at the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store on Telegraph Road, where the Big Deerbergs Plaza. So come on down and say hello. We are at 5632 Telegraph Road. They have the pre-ordered iPhone plan here. You order it here. You get the exclusive iPhone for Life plan, $70 a month for life with unlimited everything, and you get the new phone costs rolled into that as well for $70 a month. And they'll pay your cancellation fee up to $350. How about that? You will not find a better deal. Not at all. But Marshall Wireless Sprint has it at every one of their stores, 16 of them in our area. So make sure you go to one of them. If you're in the neighborhood, come on down and say hi today here on Telegraph Road. Boots have the two largest boot stores in the world, and they're both in our town. One is on Gravois in Fenton. That's not too far from here. And the other one's in St. Peter's on Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, just off of Highway 70. Between 40,000 and 50,000 pairs of boots in each store. So they've got every kind of boot imaginable, every style, every brand, but they also have women's fashion jeans. And they guarantee the lowest prices on those women's fashion jeans. Names like Miss Me, Rock Revival, Silver Jean Company. And at Chuck's Boots, they have thousands of pairs in stock. So that's how they guarantee you the lowest prices. That's how they make sure you have they have the size you want. You won't get that at the department stores or the jean stores. Work boots, Western boots, motorcycle boots, uniform boots, hiking boots. They have them all in all popular styles. They even have accessories, work jackets, work bibs, pants, shirts. In the cowboy boot area, over 10,000 pairs of women's cowboy boots. And, of course, for the men, all of the popular brands and all of the styles, alligator, lizard, ostrich, snakeskin, eel, stingray. They have Western shirts, jeans, hats. Got a lot of Stetsons at Chuck's Boots. Belts, jewelry. Largest selection of motorcycle bags and chaps and vests and jackets and helmets in our town. Chuck's Boots, two largest boot stores in the world in Fenton on Gravois, in St. Peter's on Mid-Rivers Mall Drive, just off of Highway 70. All right, our lines are always open at 314-399-8923. We thank umpire Ron Culpa for visiting with us before he heads out to work the American League Championship Series in Baltimore and Kansas City. I think that's going to be a fun series to watch. They truly are two contrasting styles, with one exception. Both have very strong bullpens. And the Cardinals and the Giants have good bullpens. So no more of that Dodger dog stuff where the starter has to pitch the whole game. But they're going to be two good series. I think both of them will go 6 or 7 games. I'm picking the Royals and the Giants. I picked the Cardinals over the Dodgers. But I don't – it's that thing that I believe that certain teams have another team's number. The Giants seem to have the Cardinals. The Cardinals have the Dodgers, and I think the Cardinals would have beaten the Nationals had they played them. But they're not going to. Don't forget, Blues opener is tomorrow night right here, right downtown. Be a Blue downtown tomorrow. Blues and the Rangers drop the puck, and Blues coach Ken Hitchcock will join us a little bit later on in this show. The Rams parted ways with Ray Armstrong Monday after his idiotic penalty on special teams again in the Eagles game, and I say again because he keeps doing it. According to Fisher, he would have released him anyway, even if the Rams had won the game. Don't know if he would have, but probably would have with the kind of stupid stuff that Armstrong keeps pulling in these games. So maybe that's the first message sent, the first strike across the bow sent to these players that this knucklehead stuff, which of course has been going on for all 3 years Fisher's been here, should cease. Fisher wasn't the most stern of parents if this was a parent disciplining their child. After 3 years of this nonsense, he's finally doing something about it. Now we'll see if it continues. How about the Redskin players laughing in the locker room after their loss to Seattle on Monday night? Some people aren't happy about it. Gruden, their coach, wasn't happy about it. I wouldn't think anybody would be happy about that. If you're thrilled to be losing, you probably don't belong in the NFL, do you? I wouldn't think so. Hey, by the way, my bugaboo, my pet peeve, reared its ugly head again yesterday, and actually twice yesterday. Cardinals win, the Giants win, and they both have these champagne/beer celebrations in the locker room. Can somebody tell me what either team won? What championship they won? They didn't. They didn't win a championship of any kind. So, again, here's the protocol for these celebrations. Win your division? Yes. Get to the play-in game? No. Win the play-in game? No. Win the division series? No. Win the American or National League Championship Series? Yes. Win the World Series? Yes. So there's 3 times you should be celebrating like that, not 6 million. You have to win a championship of some sort. Wouldn't you think? Isn't that common sense? I mean, neither team, the Giants nor the Cardinals, the Royals nor the Orioles, have won anything yet. No championship of any sort in these playoffs. Cardinals clinched their division. They won their division. Celebrate then. But nonsense yesterday. Both teams, nonsense. Orioles and Royals, nonsense. It's a division series. It's not a championship of any kind. So you win these next series, these 2, then you celebrate. It just doesn't make sense. I'm always pointing out the common sense issues of our time. Hey, how about Geno Smith in New York? He missed a meeting the night before their game last Sunday because he says he was confused by the time change in the time zones. Really? Now, I've heard a lot of good excuses for players missing meetings, missing practice, doing steroids. That's a good one. He got confused on the time zone. How old are you, 5? First of all, when you travel across time zones, your phone automatically sets to the time zone you're now in. So even if you are dumb enough to not figure it out, your phone figured it out for you. I think it's hilarious that he missed a meeting because supposedly he was confused by the time zone. Hey, what do we make of this Adam Wainwright situation? Is he hurt? Are the Cardinals hiding something here? I don't think Wainwright, just gauging the kind of guy he is from a distance, wants any excuses. He's not that way. Certainly doesn't seem to be that way. So my guess is he simply couldn't find his fastball. He didn't seem to have an arm issue. It was all about command. It wasn't as though his fastball was coming in at 75 miles an hour. He just couldn't throw it for a strike. And that happens from time to time. But now the talk about whether or not he would have pitched a Game 5 and Mike Matheny weighing in on it as well. It doesn't seem right. And now the possibility of Lance Lynn pitching Game 1 of the next series. You hate to hear that Wainwright might have some pain around that elbow, since that's what was repaired. Most of these Tommy John guys come back stronger, and Wainwright seemingly has as well, but you never hear from them again in terms of an elbow injury. That's what's concerning here, is if that is the case. If he's just got a tired arm, it's a different story. But you'd hate to see that. I hope Wainwright can bounce back and pitch game one and be the Wainwright he's been, because he was not in game one of the Dodgers series, and he was not in game one of the World Series last year. He hasn't been spectacular as a starter in postseason. He was a phenomenal closer in the 2006 year in the postseason, but as a starter, he has not won those big games. Opening game of the World Series last year, opening game of this series, pitched poorly in both. So you want to see him do well, and to me, that's the best chance for the Cardinals against the Giants. He has to pitch well, and he probably has to pitch twice. Because you're going up against four guys in that Giants rotation that are much better than what you saw in the Dodger rotation overall. Kershaw and Greinke are as good as anybody, and Ryu pitched as well as anybody could. And these Giants, if you look up another lineup, don't strike fear into you, but then you watch what they do, and they seem to always deliver with men on base, similar to what the Cardinals have done in these playoff games. Absolutely the opposite of what the Dodger hitters have done the last 2 years. They don't deliver at all. And when they do deliver, as Uribe did yesterday, by the way, he's the classic player for the postseason. And I texted a buddy of mine and was telling another friend of mine during the game, Uribe's hit, he's going to get a hit at some point in this game. It's going to be the biggest one. Sure enough, he did. And yet the Dodgers aren't smart enough to chase Ethier home with 2 outs. Make the play. Make the Cardinals make the defensive play. Most outfielders can't do it. I haven't seen anything to tell me that any of the Cardinal outfielders could throw anybody out at the plate. But when you don't put the burden on the defense and you hold your runner at third, you just took away a run that turned out to be the deciding factor. So all these little things get lost when Matt Adams strikes a 3-run homer. You forget about the little things that led to it, and that was one of the little big things that led to it. We'll wait and see. How about A.J. McCarron, by the way? Switching over to college football. He of the Alabama Crimson Tide, national championships, multiple, as their starting quarterback, now plays in the NFL. And he's still on a radio show. He plays for the Bengals now. Still on a radio show down in Alabama. And I guess yesterday or today, one of the two, he's got a show, and he went on. And here's what he said about Alabama's game against Ole Miss. He said, this Alabama team doesn't have true leaders like we had last year. Guys that when things go bad say, hey, let's calm everybody down, pick it back up, go back to work and get back on the right track. I feel like when things go bad, this team struggles a little bit with bouncing back and making good plays. He then went on to say that he thinks that Alabama's offense in that game against Ole Miss was bland. Now, most people have been saying that Lane Kiffin has really opened it up down there. But he says, I don't know if that's Lane doing that or if Coach Saban has kind of put the handcuffs on Lane, like I've known Coach to do in the past on his offensive coordinator, meaning when he was there. Wow. Nick Saban responded on the same radio station. He said, I don't think we played real well last week for whatever reason. I don't know that that's all leadership. I'm sort of responsible for all that, as we all, as coaches and players, to make sure that we're ready to play our best against good teams in tough environments on the road. And then the parting shot at A.J. McCarron. I don't know how A.J. would really know, but I don't necessarily see that as the case. Little discord down in Dixie between Nick Saban and A.J. McCarron. I'm shocked that McCarron said those things. Given all that Alabama meant to him, that was pretty shocking. And I suppose Saban is right when he says, how would A.J. know? But then again, A.J. McCarron is good friends with Blake Sims, the starting quarterback for Alabama. So could that be Sims complaining? Speaking through A.J. McCarron? Could be. Could be. All right, we're going to take a break because Ken Hitchcock's going to join us next. This is the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court, coming away live from the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store, 5632 Telegraph Road.
Destiny. In the sports world, a good offense starts with a good defense. The professionals at Lakeside Roofing believe in this same motto for your roof. Our full-time service department provides the defense to ensure that you get the most out of your roof system. A regular schedule of roof assessment and maintenance will ensure that your roof will hold up to a harsh environment, particularly spring wind and hail, as well as the overall aging process. Included in the inspection is a personalized preventive maintenance program specific to your roof system. This defensive strategy can extend the life of your commercial or residential roof for many years. Choose the winning team of professionals at Lakeside Roofing. We're a family-owned business that has built a solid reputation for excellent service from the initial call to the completed job. 618-344-2800 or 314-241-5253. Or visit us on the web at lakesideroofing.com. That's lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience. Choose Lakeside.
Hot Shots in Arnold and now Webster Groves is the place for all the games all the time. Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves is your place for all your NHL action. Yes, the Blues are back. The NFL is in full swing as well as college football. NASCAR is winding down in point series and our Cards are back in the playoffs. At Hot Shots, you get the best food and drink specials to make the games as fun as being there. Looking for a perfect place for lunch? Well, Hot Shots will get you in and back to work fast after having a fantastic lunch. Get caught up on your sports and have great views of the beautiful servers. It's always a party every day at Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves. Hot Shots gives you every reason to hang out and enjoy yourself with golden tea, bags, beer pong, foosball, darts, and all kinds of other games. Hot Shots in Arnold and Webster Groves has the game on 30 large HD TVs and the massive 105-inch screens, so you always have the best view anywhere in the place. Hot Shots in Webster Groves is on Watson at Laclede Station Roads. Hot Shots in Arnold is at 131 Arnold Crossroads Center, close to 55 and Jeffco Roads. Hot Shots in Arnold or Webster Groves, all the games, all the time.
590 KFNS, Wood River, St. Louis. Sports Talk Radio.
Now, all rise. You're in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court on 590 The Man.
Oh, yeah. That sounds familiar, doesn't it? We welcome you back into the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court at the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store on Telegraph Road, where for just $70 a month for life, you can be part of the exclusive iPhone for Life plan. Pre-order your iPhone through Marshall Wireless Sprint, and that's what you get. That's with unlimited everything, and it includes the cost of your new phone, and they'll pay your cancellation fee up to $350. How about that? We won't beat it. We won't beat hockey being upon us either. This is the greatest time of year. You've got baseball playoffs in full swing, NFL in full swing, and the hockey season begins tomorrow for the Blues right here in St. Louis against the New York Rangers, and Blues coach Ken Hitchcock joins us. Coach, how are you today?
Enough of this training camp and enough of these training camp practices.
Coach there?
It's time to play.
I bet you it is time to play. Gosh, this is a long wait. All the practices, the guys are ready to go, and a little bit different style this year, it seems, from everything I'm following through your training camp, Coach, that a puck possession is going to be paramount for this team.
Well, we've got the potential to be. We were way up there last year, top 6 in puck possession, but we got a chance to go higher if we're able to do the things that we think we can do. This is my 4th year here. This is the deepest we've ever been, especially as a forward group. And I think when we get Gunnarsson back, it's going to allow us to have another skilled defenseman on the back end. So, we have a chance to have great puck possession numbers and control the tempo of the game there. But it's also there's a lot of teams in the West here that got. As much as we think we got better, I think there's 5 or 6 that they think they got better. So it's going to be a real challenge every night. Really looking forward to be honest with you.
Coach Ken Hitchcock visiting with us. Blues open tomorrow night at home against the New York Rangers, so make sure hockey fans show up in droves at this one because this is the start of the season, folks. It counts now. You mentioned Gunnarsson, Coach. I know he's out right now, and you won't be replacing him at least right now on the roster. You're going to go with a little bit of a shorthanded team to start because he's just about ready?
You know what? He's probably, I would say, 10 days or maybe 4 games away from getting close to being ready. I think, it's one of those injuries where he's going to go back and see the doctor next week. And then I think it's going to be up to him and the coaching staff when we think he's conditioned and ready. So we're hoping we get the green light for him to proceed full bore and then see where we go. He's been really going at it the last 3 days. He looks really good on the ice right now, but he hasn't got medical clearance to take on every drill. So we're gonna hopefully get that next week and then really amp him up so that he's ready kind of towards the end of October here when we really get in full swing.
Coach, you made a big splash in the offseason, acquiring such offensive talent. Of course, Stastny is the big name that everybody recognizes here in St. Louis, but you got plenty of other guys too. Depth in terms of putting the puck in the net increased dramatically, I would think, in your mind for this team.
Well, I think what it's done is it's with Laterra, Lindstrom, and Stastny in the fold here, I think it's given us better distributors than we've ever had. So, we've always been able to go to the hard areas. We've always got chances. We've always battled to get into the scoring spaces. But we're now playing with guys that can find open people pretty much on a regular basis. And I think that's what's different. When you watch us practice, we make plays that we don't usually make or we haven't made here. We make decisions with the puck that are, sometimes coaches think they're a little bit cute at times, but they're effective. And I think that, this is the best puck distribution team we've had since, like I said, since I've been here. The other thing, Kevin, for me is these are mature players we've added. These aren't rookies. These aren't first-year guys. And you're hoping. I think we're going into the season kind of knowing what we're going to get, which I think has given the players a higher level of confidence. We get the fact that we're playing the Rangers in Game 1 and then we play LA in Game 3. So we're going to know those are the two finalists. We're going to know by the third or fourth game of the season where we're at. But I think we're better because we are able to distribute the puck better. We're able to control it better, and I think it's going to allow us to score more goals and control the tempo of the hockey game a lot better than we've done.
And, Coach, these guys that you're talking about, Stastny, Laterra, and Lindstrom, can also put it in the net. So you've got the both areas of that offense covered. Not only are they great distributors, but they can score.
Well, Lindstrom scored everywhere except the NHL. He scored big time in the American League. He's really lit it up in Europe. He lit it up in the World Championships, which was, his first sojourn back into playing against North American players. So I think his success at the World Championship, I think he was the leading scorer there, to be honest with you. His success in the World Championships opened his eyes to it, and he really felt he could play in the league again. So he's proven it everywhere except the NHL, and now he wants to prove it in the NHL. He's had some really good games for us in the exhibition, and he's shown how sudden and quick the offense he can strike. But now we got to do it against real people in the league setting, and so I think that's the next step for him. If he can continue to play the way he's played in the exhibition games and move that forward in the regular season, he's going to be a real asset for us. Laterra is more of a distribute. He distributes the puck more than he's a shooter, and he still can score, but his playmaking ability, and especially in really small spaces, has really helped us. And I said this before when Paul and Yori came on board, that we kind of knew where Paul was going to play. He was going to play in the top 6, but I also said Laterra is going to find a place to work into the top 9. He's just got so much hockey sense and moxie. He's just going to find a way to play, and that's what's happened.
And we haven't even mentioned Schwartz and Tarasenko. Schwartz has the contract behind him now, and those two guys can only get better. Young players who really started to show what they can do late in the year.
Yeah, I think Tarasenko is going to have a heck of a year. I think he's, he knows how physically strong he is now. I think he understands the North American game. I think he's going to have a heck of a year. I think the fans have to be a little bit patient with Schwartzy here. He missed time, and he's just going through that phase where he's starting to get his legs now. He came in, he was excited. We played him a lot on purpose, and he kind of hit the wall for a couple of days. But today he had real jump today. He really had his quickness back. And I think if you give Schwartzy another 8 or 10 days, he's going to catch up to everybody. But if we're going to get better by the end of the year, it's those two kids up front that are going to really help us. It's those two kids, and it's Shattenkirk and Pietrangelo on the back end. If they show the improvement that we think they can, it's going to move our team to a whole other level, and that's what we're really hoping for.
And coaches, we talked with Coach Ken Hitchcock of the Blues prior to their opener tomorrow night against one of the Stanley Cup finalists, the Rangers, here in St. Louis. You made the decision in the offseason that Brian Elliott was going to be the number one goaltender. Kind of walk us through how you came to that decision and the things that we already know about Brian Elliott, but I would imagine he's a more confident goaltender knowing he's the guy to start off with.
Well, I think just out of respect for guys that play in the league, you want to give veteran guys the first go. And it's no different than us sending down Lindbaum and Yaskin. Both guys deserve to be on the team. But out of respect for the older players, if an older player, that would be a different story. But the older players had good camps too. So start with the veteran group here. We're going to start with Brian in goal. And we're hoping that they carry the day. But we're not going to be missing not playing Jake. We're going to have Jake in there early and often. He's going to play too. And then, at some period of time during the season, we'll review it. But, Brian and Jake both have worked so hard and are so focused that we're going to play them both here in the first 10 games. And Brian's going to get the bulk of those starts. And we're hoping that he continues to grow. I guess the chance we take here, Kevin, is that both guys stop growing. That's the risk that you take. Brian's never been a starter in the league on a good team, and this is his chance. And we think he can grab it and run with it. And Jake's showing everywhere that he's either the best or one of the best goalies outside of the National Hockey League. And now it's his chance to prove that he can be a good goalie in the National Hockey League. And he's had a small taste 2 years ago of what it's like, and we think he can really grab and run and become a real bona fide strong NHL goaltender. But, that's the risk. That's the risk we're willing to take because we trust these two kids' work ethic and their determination and their ability to get better every year. And we think in the end it's going to pay off.
And, Coach, you have a situation where it was a bitter end to the season in the playoffs against the Blackhawks last year. For the players and coaches and fans, of course, it's still in mind. But does that carry over to the start of a new season? Does that serve as any kind of a motivator?
Well, I think the disappointment for me is more reality check because I kind of associate the loss against Los Angeles and Chicago as the same type of situation, and that is that we played some of our best hockey and still didn't win. And that's the reality check. Whether it was the first round, second round, third round, is not as relevant to me as how we lost and why we lost. And so we've addressed some of those things to try to get better, but I don't want to dismiss how well we played. We played awful well, but there were periods of times in the games where we needed people to step up and carry the day for us. And that's just accepting that responsibility of being a good player. And that's the one thing we've talked to a lot of guys about is that they can make a difference, and knowing the time to do it And like I said, we're in some ways we're lucky because we get so many good teams here early in the season. There's going to be periods of time, even like tomorrow night, where our best guys are going to have to step up if we expect to beat a team like New York. And that's the challenge that's facing us is playing well is one thing, but having that group of guys that steps up and really makes a difference against the big competition, that's what we're looking for this year. And we're hoping that we've got the confidence and the ability to do that.
Coach, the West is so loaded year in and year out. I don't recall a time in the NHL where one side of the fence was so loaded with such teams that you could throw a blanket over five or six that could win the Stanley Cup only in the West.
Yeah, I've never seen it like this. We're talking about this back in 2000s when it was St. Louis, ourselves, Colorado, Detroit. There was 4 in the West that were just dominant teams. But then there wasn't much after that. You know, there was teams that kind of scraped by or young teams that were starting to grow. But it was the 4 teams for about 5 years there. And that's what's taking place right now. But except that there's 8 teams. There's 8 teams here in the West that on their A game can beat anybody. And, you know, I think that's quite frankly what's made Chicago and LA pretty special because they've taken on all comers and they've got the other teams' A games and A series, and they still come out playing each other at the end of the day. And you got to give those teams credit. And we can all learn from them. We can all try to figure out why they win the series as close as they are. But at the end of the day, they got to the conference finals, and you got to give props to them for that. And I think our team is one team that we've learned a lot by playing both of these teams. And I think our players really feel like we can beat anybody, and now it's our chance to prove it during the season here.
Yeah, I was going to say that confidence level, like you described it, and losing to the Kings and losing to the Blackhawks, but playing some of your best hockey, I would imagine the younger guys take from that, hey, we can play with these guys, so there's no intimidation factor that's going to hold you back. And a lot of people outside, the media kind of people around the country are picking the Blues to win it all. I know that does nothing, but I would assume that the level of confidence in your locker room is pretty good, even though those playoff series ended in a loss.
Yeah, I think there's a real clear understanding in our locker room that there are guys in our room who are prepared to grab it now. I think that there's confidence comes from being in these type of environments, and we've gone through and lost 2 really tough series. You know, the LA series had 4 overtime games. There was 4 overtime games in the Chicago series, and as the series went on, they won the overtime games. But I think our confidence is growing to the fact that that sense of timing, knowing when to do it, knowing where to do it, knowing time and score when you got to step up. I think we can have those discussions in game, and the players will respond the right way. I think that's a big challenge for us. I really believe that we're as good as anybody in the West, but you can talk about it and you can discuss it, but then we're at the stage right now where I want to see us do it. I think a measuring stick for us, it's going to be tough getting in the playoffs because you're going to need. There's a dozen teams that think they can get 100 points this year. That's tough. That's going to be really a battle to get in. But I also the challenge within the season is how do we play against the big boys, and that's going to be there for us to look at early. That can we give these guys a go? Because quite frankly, against some of the big boys last year, I didn't think we played very well. I think we had a little bit of a deer in the headlights look, and I want to see us avoid that and go after them right away and see what we got.
And, man, you're right. The schedule dictates that you're going to be able to get a good look at that right away, opening with the Rangers and then getting the Kings in Game 3. There's your big boys, and obviously the Blackhawks are the Blackhawks. So you'll get that feeling right away. You like that, don't you?
I do. I mean, we've got everybody that's going to take us on by the end of the first week in November, we're taking a look at. And I think that's going to be really good for us to do an assessment. So, to me, by the end of the first week in November, we're going to have a great assessment on our team of what we are doing well and what we need to do to get better. And I think I like the players. I want to get going. I wish we would have started a week ago, but I'm also excited to see what we got against the big boys and see if we can compete against them, because I think there's a belief in our locker room that we can take on anybody right now.
Coach Ken Hitchcock is visiting with us. The Blues open the season tomorrow night at home against the Rangers, the defending Eastern Conference champions, and that's finalist in the Stanley Cup against the Kings. Coach, compare your team in terms of style with the Kings and the Blackhawks, the last two champions. Are there similarities and differences, or is it pretty much one way?
Well, I think Chicago is built for speed and skill, and they show that every night. They have tremendous foot speed up front. They've got great mobility on the back, and they play a game similar to that. LA plays a game where they just wear you down. They've got size, they've got skating ability, they got the ability to make plays. They just wear you down. I think we're built closer to LA than we are to Chicago. And that's the type of team that it's going to take to win in the West. You know, both teams play four lines. They don't talk four lines. They play four lines. Both teams play three sets of defensemen. Both teams have a second set of defensemen that can play against the other team's top players. That's what we want to emerge from. We want to be able to not worry about which pair of our top two pairs is playing against the other team's best forwards. And we want to go at you with four lines so that we can build some positive momentum during the game and still be fresh at the end of the game. And that's what those two teams do. If you look at the minutes played, the guys on both teams' fourth line, they're all playing double-digit minutes. And that's substantial, because that's giving somebody higher up the food chain a bigger rest. And that's what we need to do. If we expect our top players to play with high energy all season, we got to find a way for other people to take some of these critical minutes.
And, Coach, in terms of the power play and the special teams, I would imagine your eyes get big when you see Stastny, Laterra, and Lindstrom to complement the Backuses, the Tarasenkos, and the Swartzes. That's going to be a fun power play to watch.
Well, I don't want to jinx it, but I watched the two units practice for 2 days now, and it is fun to watch. Like, I'm curious to see when we get going tomorrow how it looks, but we've had both units clicking here. We've put as much pressure as we can on them, and I haven't, you know, and I again, I don't know where this is going to end up, and I don't know how long it's going to take, but I got to tell you that when you practice against your own people, you don't score very often, but we have scored a lot in the last 3 games against PK, and our PP units look like there's a real strong dynamic. We've changed them a little bit, and we've changed our setup a little bit, but we look like we've got some really strong dynamics with it.
Well, it's going to be fun. It all starts tomorrow, folks, down at the Scott Trade Center with the Blues and the New York Rangers. Coach Ken Hitchcock has been our guest. Coach, we thank you as always for your time. We really appreciate it. And best of luck to you and the team, not only for the season, but through the playoffs as well.
All right, thanks, Kev. Thanks for having me on.
You bet. Thanks, Coach. That's Coach Ken Hitchcock. What a great guy and what a great coach. And you always get a great insight when he's on. A lot of coaches will come on and say nothing, but Ken Hitchcock always gives you great insight, and that's what I love about him. I mean, if you think you know something, talking to him, you'll find out you really don't. And that's what I love about him, because he's always pointing out things that you hadn't thought of or that you didn't see. And coming from a guy who's won a Stanley Cup and had the kind of success that he's had in the National Hockey League, good grief. Why not listen to him? He knows his stuff. And I am anxious to see these guys on the power play. I knew that was going to juice them up. Why would I? I mean, you got these guys that can pass the puck like it's on a string and can also find the net. It's going to be a fun team to watch. All right, let's take a break. This is the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. We're live at the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store on Telegraph Road, and we're back with more after this.
This is Dr. Eddie Weller
and Lisa Jenkins,
host of Getting Weller. Join us Saturday at noon on AM 590 as we help you jump life's hurdles. Remember, life is not about being better. It's about getting weller.
Are you planning a night out? Maybe you're going down to the game and everyone wants to have a good time. Concerts, weddings, proms, bachelor and bachelorette parties, corporate events, special events of any kind. Start the event off right with class and luxury through Jed Transportation. No matter what the party size, we have the ride for you. Sedans, SUVs, limos, Hummers, and party buses. Jed Transportation wants to get the night started before you even get to your destination. With over 50 years of service, including a professionally licensed staff, Jed Transportation is there to make your night that much more memorable. Call 314-429-2200 or visit jedlimousine.com.
In baseball, if you're with the team applying the most pressure, you're with the winner. However, this is never true when purchasing an at-need or pre-need funeral. I'm Kathy Cutis, and I'm here to personally guarantee you will never find a pressurized sales pitch at Cutis. Our trained personnel answer your questions and you make the decisions. If you ever find yourself at a funeral home where you feel pressure, you're in the wrong place. Cutis Funeral Home, affordability with dignity for over 100 years.
In the nation, sometimes. But add brand new belongings from Nationwide Insurance and we'll replace destroyed items in your home with brand new versions. We put members first. Join the nation.
Nationwide is on your side.
To get your Nationwide insurance quote, text the word car quote to 51660.
Optional feature. Exclusions and limits apply. Damaged items may be repaired in some cases. Consult policy language for specifics. Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
Big Daddy's on the Landing presents the 6th annual Boogeyman Cash Bash Halloween weekend. That's right, Halloween night and a special bounce back Saturday night party. Come down, drink, eat, party with the costume on both nights at Big Daddy's and get in one of our 3 contests per night. Best overall costume, sexiest ladies, and best group or couple. Contests start after 1 a.m., but get here early to avoid the lines. Check out BigDaddySTL.com for more info.
Fall is the best time of year to golf in the STL. The weather is enjoyable and the courses are ready for you. Hopefully you have figured out those flaws in your game. Making a tee time is as easy as checking out the course of interest, click, pay, and save $10 for using golfaroundstl.com. Go to one of the many courses that subscribe to golfaroundstl.com on their website. Choose your tee time and enter the code 590. That's 590 and get $10 off your game. It's that simple. Golfaroundstl.com tee times must be scheduled within 7 days of the reservation. Use the 590 code and the discount will be applied at the pro shop when you check in for your round. This offer cannot be used with any other promotion and you must have your reservation at the time of check-in. Any question about the service can be directed to golfer at midwestgolfnetwork.com. Golfaroundstl.com saves you time and money. Try it today.
Huddle up, team. We need more intensity out there. Nothing gets me fired up like winning awesome tickets to things. And how are we going to win them?
The Coors Light Score the Silver Sheets promotion.
That's right. Just look for specially marked cases of Coors Light, and you can win tickets to the biggest college games and other amazing prizes. Okay, hands in. Legal copy on 3.
No purchase necessary. It's 11:59 p.m. CT or 12/31/14. Open to legal U.S. residents of 50 U.S. DC 21 plus years of age. For rules, see CoorsLight.com/kickoff. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
And now, Boogaloo right here in St. Louis reminds all Americans to show support to our troops and veterans for a job well done. This tip from Boogaloo, located at 7344 Manchester Road in St. Louis. They are community's #1 Creole, Cuban, and Caribbean cuisine experts. Come with an appetite and leave with a smile. Visit them online at boogaloo-stlouis.com or call 314-645-4803. That's Boogaloo, proudly saluting our troops and veterans. They're professionals who care, looking forward to serving you.
In the sports world, a good offense starts with a good defense.
Monday Night Football comes to St. Louis October. Sit up straight. You're in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court on 590 The Main.
And we welcome you back into the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Kevin Slayton with you on a Wednesday afternoon. And we're having fun here at the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store on Telegraph Road, 5632 Telegraph Road, where you can pre-order your new iPhone and take advantage of the iPhone for Life program. That's a $70 a month fee. That's it. That's it for life. Unlimited everything. And that includes the cost of your new phone. And they'll pay your cancellation fee up to $350 if you have it with someone else. How about that? Folks, you'll never beat it. There are no catches. I'm not tricking you into coming in. It's just the way it is. You can trust me. Hey, our good friends at Window World, it's kind of warm out there, but it's going to turn cold and rainy over the weekend. So you don't want anything leaking into your house, and you don't want good air going out. So call Window World, 314-993-1800 for a free in-home estimate. No obligation. Get your windows checked. 314-993-1800, and you'll be dealing with the original $189 window guys. Any size, white vinyl, double-hung windows, just $189. Now, they also have an A-plus from the Better Business Bureau and Angie's List on their resume. In addition, they were just voted number one again, second year in a row by J.D. Power and Associates. Doesn't happen often in this industry, but it does for Window World. That's why they're the leaders nationwide in the industry. That's why they've improved the look and the thermal efficiency of over 40,000 homes in our area. That's why Window World gives you a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass, breakage, and labor. And that's why Window World can do that. They use double-strength glass. They'll also give you 12 months free financing, same as cash, with approved credit. Everything's good at Window World. The original $189 window guys. Free in-home estimate. Get those windows checked. 314-993-1800. 314-993-1800. All right, our lines are always open at 314-399-8923. 399-8923. We thank Coach Ken Hitchcock of the Blues. I'm fired up for the Blues. Tomorrow it all opens up against one of the Stanley Cup finalists, the Rangers, but it's right here in St. Louis. And then on Saturday, Calgary's in town. We've got 2 tickets to give to you. So if you're interested in going to the game, we've got 2 tickets to the Calgary game to give to you. All you have to do is call us, and if you want the tickets, and we'll make sure we get them left for you at will call. Down at Ye Old Scott Trade Center. Cardinals don't play again until Saturday. All pitching staffs will be well rested and ready to go for these league championship series. Cardinals and Wainwright, some question marks surrounding this. I don't know. Who knows? Wainwright doesn't seem to be saying, but Matheny is saying that he's been fighting it. I don't think Wainwright wants any excuses. I think he just pitched a bad ball game on last Friday. Look, if he was injured, how did he go unbeaten in September with a spectacular earned run average? I don't think Adam Wainwright makes excuses. He just wants the ball. But there's a lot of excuse makers in town. That's for sure. He just had a bad game. There's nothing wrong with Clayton Kershaw either. He had 2 bad games. Amazingly, coasting into the 7th inning of both, facing the same hitters, leading off the 7th inning in both games, and in both games imploding. That's why I'm saying that Clayton Kershaw, the evidence is there that he's one of the biggest postseason busts in history so far. He's got a lot of career left to right that ship. But if he pitches against the Cardinals in another postseason, I don't care about righting the ship. He's got to right his own brain because this has to get to him. That's going to be a tough offseason for Clayton Kershaw. But spring training will come again, and he'll get his chance again. Mizzou and Georgia play on Saturday. I don't know if you followed the Ole Miss-Alabama game the other night, but on Saturday, Ole Miss fans were so thrilled. They rushed the field. They took down the goalpost. Some took them over to the Grove, the gathering place for tailgating on the Ole Miss campus. So the other day, their athletic director, Ross Bjork, asked fans to help pay for the 2 goalposts that were torn down. And the SEC fined them. It's a maximum $50,000 for rushing the field. 3rd times their fans have done so in the last 3 years. And there were $3,000 in stadium repairs. So $11,000 for the goalpost, $50,000 for the fine, and about $3,000 in repairs. In less than 3 hours, the $75,000 was raised. It's called crowdfunding. It's a crowdfunding platform. I don't know how they do it, but they had thousands of donors. Now, Ole Miss also gave some of the donors who gave the most, a 6-inch piece or a 10-inch piece of the goalpost. They contributed $1,000 to these fees. They got a 6-inch cut. $500. They got a 2-inch cut. Now, the Ole Miss fans, even though they reached the $75,000 goal in 3 hours, they didn't stop there. They went on and raised $92,000 plus, 760 different donors, and they raised $92,000 plus. That's how happy Ole Miss fans are. Now they go to Texas A&M this Saturday night. That's going to be a chore on the road. And Mississippi State is at home against Auburn. So another huge Saturday in the state of Mississippi in terms of the caliber of the games they're playing and opponents. You're once again going to have 4 ranked teams playing each other, 2 in the top 3. You're going to have 2 top 3 teams playing because Mississippi and Mississippi State are tied for 3rd, and Auburn's ranked 2nd. Texas A&M was ranked 6th, but they no doubt fell out of the top 10. But they'll still be ranked, and they are ranked in the top 20, so they will be representing themselves at home this time against Ole Miss. They got a taste of Mississippi State last weekend and probably didn't like it because they got gored. 314-399-8923. Tony steps in first. Hello, Tony. Welcome to the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. How are you today?
Hey, Kevin. How you doing?
Doing great.
Are you there? Okay.
I am. Can you hear me?
Hey. Yeah, I can hear you. It's kind of like, I've been calling you a long time, Kevin. This is the worst phone connections that you've ever had. So I'm just telling you, I've been calling you since like 94. So I got some phone calls in. Anyway, I'm looking forward to the Blues season and, of course, the playoffs, the Cardinals. This time of year is the best time of year, ain't it? The football going on and the college football.
It really is the best time of year. And not only is it the best time of year, I have a sneaky suspicion that the Rams and the Blues probably aren't crazy about the Cardinals and all of this postseason success because it cuts into their revenues. I know that everybody says the right thing when they're asked about it. All the teams cheer for the other teams in town, but I don't believe they really do. That's just my gut feeling, and I've had indications of that from front office people around town. I'm not going to name names, and I'm not going to say which teams, but I'm just guessing that's the case, and I would guess the Cardinals feel the same about the other teams.
Oh, yeah, I would totally agree with you. I mean, as far as the fans' perspective, it's great. But as far as the revenue, I can understand that. They have to share the revenue. I mean, the Cardinals going in deep. When you got to game 2 games, there's only so many dollars to go around. And so it's definitely taking a gouge, at least on the early part of the hockey season and maybe the football season. We'll have to see, if something happens there. But, with the way the Rams are playing, I don't think they're going to lose too many. I don't think too many people are going there anyway. They're going to wait to see. Hopefully, there'll be a Cardinal game. I don't know.
Yeah. There's truth to that. What are your thoughts about the Blues? Are you as excited about these new offensive players as most people are?
Yeah, well, Kevin, that's been our problem the last 3 years. I mean, we just can't score in the playoffs. I mean, you had the one year, your goalie only let in 10 goals in 6 games, and you got beat. I mean, you got to be able to outscore the other team. It's the whole name of the game, Kevin. I coached, my team that I put together when my son was playing hockey. We used to do spring and summer tournaments. We went to Canada. We went to Philadelphia. We went all over the country in the spring and summer. I put teams together, and we won 4 tournaments, Kevin. The only way I told the kids in the locker room, we got to outscore the other team because, I love our goaltenders. We got great goaltenders, but every goaltender has bad games. I don't care who you are, Patrick Waugh, Dominic Hasek, they all let in soft goals at one time or another. And it's like they're going to do the best they can. I go, we have to outscore them. I go, we're going in this with the idea that we're just going to score 2-3 goals a period. And if we don't, we won't. But, that's what we're shooting for. And to me, that's the way to slay the dragon here. We're going to have to build an offensive juggernaut to win the Stanley Cup because, then the surprise comes if your goaltender does steal you. If that happens, that's awesome. But you have to have one side of the ledger. You have to have an offense. You have to look at the great players that's won the cup, Kevin. Gretzky, Lemieux, Brett Hull. I mean, you're talking about some of the best offensive players ever. I mean, John Beliveau and the great Canadians, Maurice the Rocket Richard. I mean, yeah, goaltenders can steal you, but you still have to outscore the other team, Kevin. That's the bottom line. And you can have your goalies back if you can win 6-5 once in a while. I'm not saying you have to do that. You're not going to go anywhere if your goalie gives it a 4 or 5 every game. But you got to have your goalies back, just like, the goalie's got to have the offensive back when they have a good game. It's a team game. I mean, I totally have preached it's a total team game, and every goalie's going to give up soft goals. Every goalie's going to have the games where he's a star. So, I mean, that's what we got to do. It's been 47 years, Kevin. I've been here since day one. You've been here since day one. I was 9 years old when the Blues came here. It's been 47 years I've watched the Blues bow out in the playoffs, or not make the playoffs, but usually they bow out in the playoffs. And I'm telling you, I went and I put teams together. I've won 4 tournaments in Midwest Selects. I mean, I got a website if you want to go to it, MidwestSelectsHockey.com. And I played teams, my son's teams that were, kids his own age, AAA competition, the best competition we could find. And we went to the finals 7 out of 11 tournaments. And we won 4 of them out of 11 tournaments, and we didn't make the playoffs in 3 of them. But we did go to the finals in 7 out of 11. And, I preached the whole time, we got to have our goalies back. And if the goalie has a great game and he stands on his head, that's awesome. That's what we need. But they can't score. You have to score. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, you heard a little, I seriously, Kevin, you know me. I've been calling you a long time, and I've been here since 47 years and watched this Blues team bow out in the playoffs every year. And I'm serious when I say this. If we don't win in 2 years, I want to be the general manager of the Blues, Kevin. Hey, we couldn't do any worse in the last 47 years. I'm serious. I'm serious when I say this, Kevin. I'm dead serious.
I'm sure you are. But the Blues have put together some offensive players, and I loved hearing Ken Hitchcock say that this power play has been extraordinary in practice, and that you don't often score on your own team in those drills, but they have been scoring a lot. And not wanting to jinx it, of course, it'll be fun to see how they do starting tomorrow night against the class of the East, the Rangers, who represented the East in the Stanley Cup playoffs last year and Stanley Cup finals last year.
Well, I'm excited about this team, Kevin. I really am. I heard Hitchcock's, your interview, and I am excited about it. And I am excited to see Lidstrom and Laterra and Paul Stasi. I actually watched Paul Stasi play up here in Afton. He played for the Junior Blues one year. Listen to this, Kevin. I always go up there and watch because I've been coaching hockey. My son's been playing. He's up at Springfield right now playing Junior A. And I'm going up there to watch him. But I've always grown up here in Afton. My son started playing there. Anyway, so I go up and watch the Junior B Blues up here. They're Tier 3 now, whatever, NA3 Blues. But I go watch the junior kids play over there. And one game, listen to this one, Kevin. You'll love this. Paul Stasi was playing because he played on that team, and I was watching. I think he was 15. And I was watching the game, and guess what I was sitting next to? The professor. And Peter Stasi, Paul's dad, and I was talking to the professor during the game. I'll never feel as fun. I mean, I love that. I love Ron Curran, and he was, he had that accent, and I just kept, I just wanted to hear him talk, So I was making a conversation with him, and it was fun. It was a blast. That was a while ago, but like I said, Paul Stasi played there. I mean, you can ask him. I mean, I watched him. He was really good, and then he went to Colorado, went to college, and the rest is history. But I'm glad to see him back. And, I'm real fired up about this offensive team. We got to score goals. I mean, we could do it in the regular season, Kevin, until we played the good teams. You look at last year's, what we did against L.A., San Jose, Vancouver, Anaheim. You look at what they did. They didn't do anything against those teams. They went 1-10 against those teams in the regular season. And I kept track of it because usually how you play, if you lose the teams you lose to in the regular season, the teams you really have trouble with in the playoffs. So anyway, I'm fired up about this team. I'm looking forward to these centers that can dish the puck because that's what Hitchcock was saying, and I'm really looking forward to that. I was hoping to get those Calgary tickets, but all
right. Well, why don't we just go ahead and give them to you? Since you've talked hockey here, we've got Calgary tickets for you, Tony. Oh, I'm sorry. We already gave them away. I didn't know that. Owen tells me we
the
already
guy
gave them
told
away,
me that
so
when I
I
called. But that's all
apologize.
right. I appreciate you guys giving away tickets and stuff. And Kevin, I've been calling you a long time, and that hockey's my favorite sport. And although I'm looking forward to this Cardinals teams, even though I don't really, it's not like a team that you grew up with. Baseball is nothing like when me and you were little, Kevin. I mean, as far as the teams, the tradition, you played 9 players every game just about. I mean, maybe one pinch hitter late in the game, or maybe and the pitcher went almost 9. You tried to go 9 every game, and you might have a reliever come in if he's really getting bombed, but it's totally different than what it used to be back in the day. But still, I'm looking forward to the playoffs. We have a tradition. We're so lucky around here. The team. And I want to throw out a heads up to the coach. He gets a lot of guff, and we pointed out a lot of stuff that over the years, our Matheny. But one thing he's doing that LaRussa never did, he's sitting our left fielder late in the innings for defensive purposes. I mean, how long have we? I mean, how many? 2 horrible errors our left fielder made in the playoffs over the years that that were well documented, and it's like it's just he's getting it.
Let me interrupt you there, Tony. Hold on. Let me interrupt you there, and then because then we got to go to a break. But I'm going to say this: it's fine if you've got somebody in a situation like that where you have a big enough lead that it won't hurt you if you replace him defensively. But I would not be replacing Holiday in a 1-run game, because if they tie it up and you go extra innings, now you've got Peter Burgess at the plate instead of Holiday, and there isn't any question who I'd rather have at the plate. So I think it's a mistake to replace him in these playoff games in 1-run games. If you're up 6-2,
I see
bingo.
your side of the coin. I agree with you. I agree with you, but LaRussa never replaced him.
All right.
You know what I'm saying?
No.
So at least
Yeah.
I
All right, well, we got to run.
replaced.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, we appreciate it. Thank you. All right, folks, guess what? It's Wednesday. You know what that means? It's Stumpy's House of Barbecue. It means 99-cent rib night. That's what it means. All ribs at Stumpy's House of Barbecue in St. Peter's, 99 cents. All hickory smoked, all slow cooked. You can head on over to 620 Jungerman Road in St. Peter's or call them at 636-441-7222. 441-7222. You can dine in. You can get a carryout, or they'll deliver. But it is 99-cent rib night. Now, here's the catch. They make a ton of ribs for you on Wednesdays, but when they're gone, they're gone. So get over there and get your share at 99 cents a piece at Stumpy's House of Barbecue, 620 Jungerman Road in St. Peter's. Here's the number again, 636-441-7222. Don't forget to grab some appetizers while you're there. The great smoked chicken wings, Stumpy's skins and nachos, the fried pickles, the fried green beans, tremendous salads. Stumpy's House of Barbecue, 99-cent rib night. And if ribs aren't your thing, chicken by the half chicken or whole chicken, great barbecue plates for lunch or dinner, great barbecue sandwiches, ice cold beer, great extras, all the sides that you'd ever want. Stumpy's House of Barbecue, 620 Jungerman Road, 636-441-7222, 99-cent rib night tonight. We're back at the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store on the Paschal Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court right after this.
In the sports world, a good offense starts with a good defense. The professionals at Lakeside Roofing believe in this same motto for your roof. Our full-time service department provides the defense to ensure that you get the most out of your roof system. A regular schedule of roof assessment and maintenance will ensure that your roof will hold up to harsh environment, particularly spring wind and hail, as well as the overall aging process. Included in the inspection is a personalized preventive maintenance program specific to your roof system. This defensive strategy can extend the life of your commercial or residential roof for many years. Choose the winning team of professionals at Lakeside Roofing. We're a family-owned business that has built a solid reputation for excellent service from the initial call to the completed job. Call us today at 618-344-2800 or 314-241-5253. Or visit us on the web at lakesideroofing.com. That's lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience. Choose Lakeside.
Monday Night Football comes to St. Louis October 13th as our Rams take on the 49ers. The Miller Coors Tailgate Party will kick off in the north lot of the Dome at 4:30 and rock on until game time at 7:30. Cheap beer products, great food, and music. Proceeds from the sales going to help our troops through the USO of Missouri. Come join the fun and get primed for the game. Presented by Miller Coors, the USO of Missouri, AM 590 and 1380, as well as MLM Law Firm, Paul Cerami Kia Ford, Max Muscle Supplement Superstore of Brentwood, and Mastermind Vodka.
In baseball, if you're with the team applying the most pressure, you're with the winner. However, this is never true when purchasing an at-need or pre-need funeral. I'm Kathy Cutis, and I'm here to personally guarantee you will never find a pressurized sales pitch at Cutis. Our trained personnel answer your questions and you make the decisions. If you ever find yourself at a funeral home where you feel pressure, you're in the wrong place. Cutis Funeral Home, affordability with dignity for over 100 years.
In the nation, sometimes. But add brand new belongings from Nationwide Insurance and we'll replace destroyed items in your home with brand new versions. We put members first. Join the nation.
Nationwide is on your side.
To get your Nationwide insurance quote, text the word car quote to 51660.
Optional feature. Exclusions and limits apply. Damaged items may be repaired in some cases. Consult policy language for specifics. Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
Big Daddy's on the Landing presents the 6th annual Boogeyman Cash Bash Halloween weekend. That's right, Halloween night and a special bounce back Saturday night party. Come down, drink, eat, party with the costume on both nights at Big Daddy's and get in one of our 3 contests per night. Best overall costume, sexiest ladies, and best group or couple. Contests start after 1 a.m., but get here early to avoid the lines. Check out BigDaddySTL.com for more info.
Fall is the best time of year to golf in the STL. The weather is enjoyable and the courses are ready for you. Hopefully you have figured out those flaws in your game. Making a tee time is as easy as checking out the course of interest. Click, pay, and save $10 for using golfaroundstl.com. Go to one of the many courses that subscribe to golfaroundstl.com on their website. Choose your tee time and enter the code 590. That's 590 and get $10 off your game. It's that simple. Golfaroundstl.com tee times must be scheduled within 7 days of the reservation. Use the 590 code and the discount will be applied at the pro shop when you check in for your round. This offer cannot be used with any other promotion and you must have your reservation at the time of check-in. Any question about the service can be directed to golfer at midwestgolfnetwork.com. Golfaroundstl.com saves you time and money. Try it today.
Now, all rise. You're in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court on 590 The Main.
And we welcome you back. Kevin Slayton with you. It is a Wednesday afternoon, a hot Wednesday afternoon in town. This is the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Hey, don't forget, if you have any roof issues, folks, or you might have had roof issues, your neighbors may have had them, which probably means you do too. The next 40 or so days are critical. You need to understand that any damage from the 2014 storms is going to be looked at differently in 2015 because the insurance companies are going to change the stipulations on what they consider damage. So it might make your roof harder to get approved for a new roof. So I always say call Zycan Exteriors, 636-345-6873. They will take care of it for you. A free damage inspection, a free roof inspection from the storm damage experts. I used a Zycan Exteriors on my roof. Guess what? They took all the pain out of dealing with my insurance company for me. They met them at my house, the adjuster, and went up on the roof with them. And when they came down, I had a new full roof replacement of all upgraded Owens Corning shingles. A-plus rating with the Better Business Bureau, locally owned Zycan Exteriors. Now, you got a lot of fly-by-night operators in here now because of the storms and the hail damage. I mean, all of that that took place just a few weeks ago and the wind storms of November and February. I mean, it's been a rough time. But if you're out in Manchester, Baldwin, Chesterfield, Olivet, you had all that hail not too long ago. So make sure you're getting it checked by Zycan Exteriors. It's free. All you lose is a phone call, 636-345-6873. They're so good with the insurance companies. Last 11 or 12 times that people have been given a partial replacement by their insurance company. Zycan Exteriors has come in, met with the insurance company, and got a full roof replacement. Full roof replacement for those folks. We had one customer who was turned down twice, called Zycan Exteriors. They went out, got a full roof replacement. 636-345-6873. When no one else can, Zycan Exteriors. All right, our lines are open at 314-399-8923. We've talked a lot about the Blues opening tomorrow night. We had Coach Ken Hitchcock on. We talked with Ron Kulpa. He's a Major League umpire from St. Louis, and he is working the championship series between the Orioles and the Royals. We talked at length about the Cardinals' 2 games, against the Dodgers here this week, and how Clayton Kershaw is, at least by the postseason numbers, one of the biggest busts in postseason history to this point in his career. The Dodgers not allowing Ethier to score on Uribe's double, turning point of the game. You go up 3-0 at that point instead of 2-0, and then Matt Adams' home run is a game-tying home run, not a game-winning home run. But the Dodgers didn't challenge the Cardinals' outfield, and who wouldn't challenge the Cardinals' outfield? The Dodgers. That's your only answer. Don Mattingly managed himself out of a job if I own the Dodgers. We'll see what happens out there. But their hitters never come through. The Cardinals' hitters do. As I said, the 2 biggest hits perhaps in this entire series were 2 leadoff singles by Holiday in the 7th inning of games 1 and 4. You got to start. And those hits were huge, especially backed up right away by singles from Peralta in both instances as well. Yes, the big blow was Carpenter's bases-loaded double in L.A., and it was Matt Adams' 3-run homer here, but those hits to lead off the inning were huge. Will is up first. Welcome to the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Will, how are you?
Well, how are you, Mr. Slate? I would like to say, are you surprised that Mustaine is still the manager of the Cardinals after this such bad job he's done all year? I mean, I think he's done. I
think he's done a horrible
job, but he's still the manager. I don't understand that. Why is that?
Well, I believe he's done a horrible job as well, but I believe every manager does a horrible job. I don't see very many good ones. Buck Showalter's a pretty good manager. Bruce Bochy's a pretty good manager, but I don't see too many others. So I guess the Cardinals feel like they don't pay Matheny the top dollar, and they're winning, so why mess with it? But his decisions are laughable. Taking Shelby Miller out yesterday was a joke. And, of course, immediately Uribe gets the big double, and it made Matheny look like an idiot, but Matt Adams rescued him. I've never seen a team, the Cardinals, with managers making one bonehead move after another, and yet they get lucky because his players bail him out, and they do it routinely. Dodger players don't bail Mattingly out. And to me, that's the difference in the series. You got 2 managers who couldn't manage their way out of a paper bag, but the players on the Cardinals bail their manager out. The Dodger players do not. We appreciate the call, Will. Yeah, you're not going to see Matheny get fired, that's for sure. But Don Mattingly, they've got that big payroll. I wouldn't want to manage a team with that kind of a payroll. Cardinals spend a lot of money too. They just don't waste hundreds of millions of dollars on players like Carl Crawford or Adrian Gonzalez who never come through in the clutch. Bob is up next. Welcome, Bob, to the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. How are you?
Hey, Kevin, how's it going? Just popped the Pabst Blue Ribbon. Hey,
attaboy.
Bear with me. Got a little cold, but first thing I want to say about the Blues, God bless the Blues. I hope they win it sometime in my life. I know they will. But, I grew up with that. The Mike Liu, here's a name everybody probably forgot, Wayne Babbage, 50-goal scorer. I'm old school, been around, and I really love the Blues. And there's a lot of great people there. I actually do some deliveries, and not saying where or what, but, there's really good people. I've been there a couple times. Seems like everybody around there is the great organization. But talking about the Cardinals, these Cardinals are something else. And, they just continue to come through and come through. And we are just so blessed to have them. I'm so excited. I hope we take out Frisco. And, it's just amazing how they seem to it's like it's God's team or something. And like I said before, a buddy of mine goes to Vegas a lot. He spends a lot. I ain't really going to say how much, but a lot. And when he put some big bets on the Cardinals, they had to call up the broken break and, he's staying here? Okay, we'll take the bet. And the junior bookie said, we really don't like taking bets on the Cardinals no more. You know? So
well, they don't like taking bets on teams that win all the time. And the Cardinals have great success in the postseason over the last, maybe 10 years. Go back even 10 years. I always think these streaks will turn against you at some point. They usually, of the 99 through 2001 two seasons, had those great runs, but those end faster in football than they do in baseball. But look at this team and the 2009 draft. Well, the Cardinals were winning the World Series in 2011 with a lot of veteran players. Pujols' last appearance in a Cardinal uniform. The Cardinals had drafted in 2009 Trevor Rosenthal, Matt Adams, Matt Carpenter, and somebody else that I'm not thinking of. Adams, Carpenter, Rosenthal, Shelby Miller. So
yeah, it's just amazing. They
there you have it. That,
but I think I got a bad connection.
Yeah, and you come through,
and I just love these Cardinals.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Now, influence is still being felt here on this team because he's the one who scouted and drafted those. So what Lou now did as the head of the Cardinal farm system, and when Bill DeWitt, if Lou now and Walt Jocketty was gone, that's what started to develop this farm system. So we have to give credit to Bill DeWitt for his vision and credit to Jeff Lunau for his eye for talent. Some of these guys were drafted. These weren't all high draft. Look at the Royals nucleus. High draft of hitting. But baseball's more of a crapshoot than anything else. Although, if you look at the Rams draft, you see what a big crapshoot that is, too. This CMC Kings Court back to the Marshall Wireless Sprint Stuff Road right after this.
Team, we need more intensity out there. Nothing gets me fired up like winning awesome tickets to things. And how are we going to
score the Silver Sheets promotion?
That's right. Just look for specially marked cases of Coors Light, and you could win tickets to the biggest college games and other amazing prices. Okay, hands in.
11:59 DC 21 plus of age. For rules, see CoorsLight.com/kickoff. Coors Brewing Company, Golden, Colorado. With great beer comes great responsibility.
And right here in St. Louis reminds all Americans to show support and veteran full Cuban and Caribbean cuisine experts. Come with an appetite and visit them online or your police veterans. They're professionals who care, looking forward to serving you.
In the sports world, a good offense starts with a good defense. The professionals at Lakeside Roofing believe in this same motto for your roof. Our full-time service department provides the defense to ensure that you get the most out of your roof system. A regular schedule of roof assessment and maintenance will ensure that your roof will hold up to harsh environment, particularly spring wind and hail, as well as the overall aging process. Included in the inspection is a personalized preventive maintenance program specific to your roof system. This defensive strategy can extend the life of your commercial or residential roof for many years. Choose the winning team of professionals at Lakeside Roofing. We're a family-owned business that has built a solid reputation for excellent service from the initial call to the completed job. Call us today at 618-344-2800 or 314-241-5253. Or visit us on the web at lakesideroofing.com. That's lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience. Choose Lakeside.
Monday Night Football comes to St. Louis October 13th as our Rams take on the 49ers. The Miller Coors Tailgate Party will kick off in the north lot of the Dome at 4:30 and rock on until game time at 7:30. Cheap beer products, great food, and music. Proceeds from the sales going to help our troops through the USO of Missouri. Come join the fun and get primed for the game. Presented by Miller Coors, the USO of Missouri, AM 590 and 1380, as well as MLM Law Firm, Paul Cerami Kia Ford, Max Muscle Supplement Superstore of Brentwood, and Mastermind Vodka.
590 KFNS, Wood River, St. Louis. Sports Talk Radio.
Are you planning a night out? Maybe you're going down to the game and everyone wants to have a good time. Concerts, weddings, proms, bachelor and bachelorette parties, corporate events, special events of any kind. Start the event off right with class and luxury through Jed Transportation. No matter what the party size, we have the ride for you. Sedans, SUVs, limos, Hummers, and party buses. Jed Transportation wants to get the night started before you even get to your destination. With over 50 years of service, including a professionally licensed staff, Jed Transportation is there to make your night that much more memorable. Call 314-429-2200 or visit jedlimousine.com.
This is the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court on 590 The Man.
And we welcome you back into the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Kevin Slayton with you on 590 The Man, streaming live at TalkSTL.com. TalkSTL.com with a free app. Simply download it. You can take us everywhere. TalkSTL.com. We're at the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store, 5632 Telegraph Road in the Dearborns Plaza. Folks, you can pre-order your iPhone here, and that way you take advantage of the great Marshall Wireless Sprint exclusive iPhone for Life plan. $70 a month for life. That, by the way, is unlimited everything, and it also includes the cost of your new phone. And they'll pay your cancellation fee up to $350. You won't beat it anywhere, so don't waste your time even trying. Go to one of the 16 Marshall Wireless Sprint stores in our area. All right, our number's open at 314-399-8923, 314-399-8923. It's that time for an ice cold Pabst Blue Ribbon, isn't it? They are the best tasting beer, the Pabst Blue Ribbon boys. Folks, it's not just my opinion, but it is my opinion, but it's not just that. I'm backed by evidence. I'm backed by international beer tasting competitions around the world where those international beer tasting blind tasting panels are made up of general public and brewmasters. And they continue to vote Pabst Blue Ribbon, the gold medal, the silver medal, and the bronze medal. And they're judging it on taste alone. So Pabst Blue Ribbon, the best tasting beer in the world, simply by virtue of winning all of those blind taste testing competitions. But it also costs the least. So what a rare combination in our world today. The best tasting product and the least expensive product come in the same bottle or can. Pabst Blue Ribbon with the award-winning ribbon on the bottle and can as its logo. The American original since 1844, the original red, white, and blue Pabst Blue Ribbon. All right, lines open, as we said, 314-399-8923. Didn't know if you caught Scott Rowland's comments, but it was a very classy move by the Cardinals to call him and invite him in to throw out the first pitch yesterday. And he drove in from Bloomington, Indiana with his family and threw the first pitch out to Adam Wainwright, his former teammate. Rowland did comment about his departure from St. Louis and said it had become an untenable situation with La Russa. And, of course, the instigation for that was Rowland challenging Albert Pujols in the dugout for not running out ground balls and La Russa siding with Pujols. Of course, Scott Rowland was correct. And, of course, Pujols and La Russa were wrong. But that was the beginning of the end for Scott Rowland in this town. He wanted to stay here for life as a Cardinal, signed an 8-year contract. But after 5.5, 6 years, as he said, it became an untenable situation. He had to leave, and so he did. But nice move on the part of the Cardinals to call him and have him come in and throw out the first pitch yesterday to, as I said, Adam Wainwright. The Blues open tomorrow night at home against the defending Eastern Conference champion New York Rangers. The Rangers, of course, lost the Stanley Cup Finals to the Kings, but they're back hungry, and they'll get the Blues in the opener here tomorrow. Mizzou and Georgia play Saturday in Columbia. Game time, kickoff 11 a.m. That's tough for people in Kansas City and St. Louis to drive down to Columbia for an 11 a.m. game. But in this case, it might work out right because the Cardinals play at night here at home. So if you want to go to both, you can make both. The Blues play Calgary. So what a weekend it is for local sports. The Blues play Thursday and Saturday. Mizzou plays Saturday. The Cardinals play Saturday. Great weekend for local. Oh, I'm sorry, the Rams play Monday night. People probably don't care, but they do, against the 49ers, and it's a home game. I also made the comparison about the rest of the world talking about big game John Lackey, just like they talk about big game James Shields over there in Kansas City. Well, James Shields doesn't have a very good record in the postseason. And for all the hoopla surrounding John Lackey, he's 7-5. But Ryan Vogelsong of the Giants, 4-0, with an earned run average under 2. And he'll most likely pitch against John Lackey in Game 3. The rotation for the 49ers, for the San Francisco Giants, has Bumgarner, Jake Peavy pitching perhaps the best baseball of his life after leaving Boston it looked like in a trance. He wasn't pitching well at all. Comes back, reunites with Bruce Bochy, and he's pitching lights out. And then Vogelsong and Hudson. Man, now those are 4 starters. When you've got a rotation like that, you use them all. We'll see what happens while Clayton Kershaw waits to figure out what in the hell happened to him. But that was not a proud series for the Dodgers. Kershaw getting rocked twice. Don Mattingly making mistake after mistake. Their hitters not coming through. Wasn't a good series for the umpires either. That umpiring crew should never work another postseason game. How do you make more mistakes than they did? They couldn't get balls and strikes right, both ways. They gave the Cardinals a benefit on a play where Colton Wong tagged the base runner with an empty glove, and they called him out. Then they gave the Dodgers the benefit on Ethier at third base on a pickoff play yesterday, called him safe when he was out by 2 feet. In both of those cases, the replay system overturned the umpire, and then the balls and strikes were just laughable. That was one of the worst umpired series I've ever seen in a postseason. Ron Couple was telling us, and he's a Major League umpire, that they allow younger guys to work. They break them in to get them experience, but I don't think you should. And I don't see why umpires can't work in a back-to-back series. They do all year. Why wouldn't you want your best out there? Just because you want to work young guys in and give them experience, that's not a good idea in the postseason. They should have to earn it. Who's up, Owen? I'm sorry. Jeff is up first. Welcome to the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Jeff, how are you?
I'm good, Kevin. How are you, sir?
Doing well also.
Good. I have a question. I was going to ask you, do you see it ever being the case that will go to just like an electronic, calling of balls and strikes? You'd have an umpire behind home plate, but they get some sort of signal that says strike or ball, and if they do you think that'd be better, or would you like to see that? I'll hang up and listen to your answer.
All right. Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate the thought. I would not like to see that. I'm not even crazy about replay as it stands today in baseball. I do like the human error element. I do like still being able to debate Don Denkinger and whether or not he cost the Cardinals the 85 World Series, because if we recall, after he made that blunder, Jack Clark dropped a foul ball pop-up. If he doesn't drop that, the Cardinals still win. Same with the Cubs, Bartman, who, by the way, when you watch that closely, that was never going to be caught by Moises Alou, but they needed a scapegoat in Chicago instead of the Billy Goat. So they made Bartman the scapegoat. But remember, Alex Gonzalez, their shortstop, booted one right after that. So there were plays that were subsequent to the umpire's bad call that actually decided those games. I like human error. I like to be able to debate it. I like to say the third base umpire yesterday was blind and that Ethier was out by 2 feet. I like to say that the first base umpire in L.A. apparently can't see 5 feet away from him, that Colton Wong had the ball in his bare hand and a glove with no ball in it and tagged him with the glove. He called him out anyway. This replay takes the good old rhubarb out of the game. I like seeing them get at it. Now they just go out there and say, hold on, we're checking to see if we can replay this thing and blah, blah, blah. They're just taking all the fun of it. I know that the umpires like it because it is a help to them. If they blew a call, it gets it right. I understand that. And people making death threats to umpires over calls, what's wrong with people? There's just something wrong with people that do that. 399-8923. 399-8923 is our number if you want to weigh in on any of these topics. But I really thought that was some of the worst umpiring I've ever seen. And this is playoff baseball. And if the system that Bud Selig has allows young umpires to come in and umpire playoffs just because, well, that's a bad system. The heck with their experience. You got to have umpires who earn it. And if that means the same guys every year, that's what it means. You know, if you're a manager or a player, do you want young umpires in there just to get them experience, or do you want the umpires who have merited that assignment, whether it's all 3 rounds of the playoffs or not? Well, I want the best. And if the best means they umpire the division series, the league championship series, and the World Series, well, then that's what it means. So now what you're going to have is you're going to have guys who umpired in these division series games being chosen to work the World Series. We saw how bad these guys were. If any of these umpires get chosen for the World Series, baseball's a mess. Phil's up. Hello, Phil. How are you?
Carpe diem, King. Once again, great show.
Thank you very much.
Hey, one quick comment about the Dodgers. Have you ever seen a bunch of whiny little snatches in all of baseball? I mean, Puig is the biggest jack. He swings and misses and strikes out and argues after he swings and misses and strikes out. I'll be honest, I wouldn't want that guy on my team. I don't care who I have. Just give me your thoughts on him. I think they were the biggest bunch of babies I'd ever seen, and I'm glad they got beat. I don't really care about the Dodgers, but that Puig guy is a problem. They benched one of the best players in baseball because he loses his mind and gets out of control. What a jack. Great show, King.
Thank you. I appreciate the call, Phil. Yeah, I think Puig has a lot to learn. First of all, you don't just go up there hacking like he did. And, of course, where's the great Mark McGwire, the hitting coach? No one talked to him. They let him strike out 8 times in a row, and nobody tried to improve what he was doing. I don't blame Mattingly for benching him yesterday. Ethier was a better player right now. Puig has a lot of raw talent, but it seems raw. One thing I do like about him is when he hits the ball, he comes running out of that box. There's no jogging from him. He's running all the way. I like that. I think Gonzalez talks a lot and produces very little when it comes to the postseason. Now, as far as what happened in L.A., that was Molina's fault. Molina started that. And if Cardinal fans want to get up in arms, say, oh, what are you talking about? You know, I know Molina walks on water around here, but Molina started that. Molina was so far out of line with that, it wasn't even funny. And by the way, he's the guy that got fined, if you noticed. Now, they'll also, he pushed the umpire. I heard Ron Culpa tell us today that they give players more of a leash in the playoffs, but they're not going to get abused. We saw a couple of guys get booted out of the Washington game, and neither one of them did as much as Molina did. Molina threw the umpire out of his way. He should have been ejected in that game. I don't know if it would have had an impact on the game or not. It probably would have, because Molina got one of the big hits in the 7th inning. But he should have been thrown out. If you want to go by what baseball determines as grounds for ejection, you can't push an umpire. And he basically just threw him like he was a fly. So he got fined, and rightly so, but he should have been ejected. But I agree with Jeff that some of these Dodger players, Gonzalez and Puig notably, I don't blame Kemp. I'd have been pissed at that too. That pitch was the same pitch. It was a ball first, then it was strike 3. You got to be kidding me. But Gonzalez talks a lot about stuff and never delivers. Puig does not deliver in the postseason. Kemp delivered to some degree, but Kemp had a big at-bat yesterday. Let's give a tip of the cap to Shelby Miller here. 1st and 3rd, nobody out, scoreless game, and he gets Kemp to hit into a double play. It got a run home, but I guarantee you nobody on the Dodgers were happy with that double play. 1st and 3rd, nobody out, one of your best hitters at the plate, and he fails to come through. And that's the difference between the Cardinals and the Dodgers. The Cardinals do come through, the Dodgers never do. It took Juan Uribe to get the big hit for the Dodgers yesterday that could have kept them in the game, and yet the third base coach doesn't send Ethier home. Kind of insane. That would have been a 3-0 lead. So for all of the Dodgers' high-priced talent, they come through very little. Clayton Kershaw, he doesn't come through at all. He's on pace to become the biggest postseason bust in history if he keeps it up. He just wants to get away from the Cardinals. He's 0-4 against them, 1-5 overall, with an earned run average over 5. And in only one of his 4 losses to the Cardinals in postseason has he pitched well. And by well, I mean deserved to win. And that was the 1-0 game last year when David Freese hit an extra base hit and scored the only run of the game early. Second inning, I believe it was. And that was the only run scored in the game. But, yesterday when the Dodgers took the 2-0 lead, the game was right there on Clayton Kershaw's shoulders. If you don't allow the Cardinals to score 2 runs, you win. They should have had 3, but you got 2. You got 2 runs, and you've got 3 innings. And he couldn't do it. So, for all that money, I'll tell you, that's the dumbest contract ever, though. You never pay a starting pitcher that kind of money. But I've got to believe that kind of contract for these guys does figure into your play in tight situations. Because it's human nature to think, man, I'm making a lot of money. I've got to come through here. And I really think that happens. Now, nobody's ever going to admit to that, but I think it happens. How else do you explain Gonzalez leading the major leagues in RBIs with 116, and then he just falls flat on his face with the exception of 1 home run? And by the way, that home run was when the score was 10-6. I'm not saying it wasn't important because it closed the gap, but it wasn't Matt Adams-like, where you're down 2-0 and you hit a 3-run homer to take the lead. Gonzalez hit his home run when they were down 10-6. And it wasn't a grand slam. It was a 2-run homer. So it's just a matter of whose players come through, and the Cardinals and the Giants players do. If you looked at the Nationals' performance, their big guns did nothing with the exception of Bryce Harper. The rest of their offense all hit below 200, the top guys. Well, you're not going to win when your big guns are hitting below 200. Harper did all he could. They pitched pretty well. Fister was brilliant in Game 3, elimination game, as he usually is in the playoffs. 3998923. Let's take a break, and we'll come back with more in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court, live from the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store on Telegraph Road.
In the nation, sometimes. But add brand new belongings from Nationwide Insurance, and we'll replace destroyed items in your home with brand new versions. We put members first. Join the nation.
Nationwide is on your side.
To get your Nationwide insurance quote, text the word car quote to 51660.
Optional feature. Exclusions and limits apply. Damaged items may be repaired in some cases. Consult policy language for specifics. Nationwide Mutual Insurance Company and Affiliates, Columbus, Ohio.
Fall is the best time of year to golf in the STL. The weather is enjoyable and the courses are ready for you. Hopefully you have figured out those flaws in your game. Making a tee time is as easy as checking out the course of interest. Click, pay, and save $10 for using golfaroundstl.com. Go to one of the many courses that subscribe to golfaroundstl.com on their website. Choose your tee time and enter the code 590. That's 590 and get $10 off your game. It's that simple. Golfaroundstl.com tee times must be scheduled within 7 days of the reservation. Use the 590 code and the discount will be applied at the pro shop when you check in for your round. This offer cannot be used with any other promotion, and you must have your reservation at the time of check-in. Any question about the service can be directed to golfer at midwestgolfnetwork.com. Golfaroundstl.com saves you time and money. Try it today.
In the sports world, a good offense starts with a good defense. The professionals at Lakeside Roofing believe in this same motto for your roof. Our full-time service department provides the defense to ensure that you get the most out of your roof system. A regular schedule of roof assessment and maintenance will ensure that your roof will hold up to harsh environment, particularly spring wind and hail, as well as the overall aging process. Included in the inspection is a personalized preventive maintenance program specific to your roof system. This defensive strategy can extend the life of your commercial or residential roof for many years. Choose the winning team of professionals at Lakeside Roofing. We're a family-owned business that has built a solid reputation for excellent service from the initial call to the completed job. Call us today at 618-344-2800 or 314-241-5253. Or visit us on the web at lakesideroofing.com. That's lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience. Choose Lakeside.
This is a beer ad for guys who like drinking beer with their buddies and watching football while drinking beer with their buddies at a bar while eating fried food and high-fiving. Ever high-five while eating fried food? We call it high-friving. Buddies and beer, football and fried food. But this is a beer ad for a different type of beer with a refreshing taste of apple. It's called Red's Apple Ale. You can still drink it with your buddies while watching football or drink it while doing something a little different, like watching rugby or professional arm wrestling. Or if you're feeling really crazy, get some Red's Apple Ale and 2 TVs and watch rugby and arm wrestling at the same time. Because that's exactly what Red's is. A little different and anything but ordinary. Crisp like an apple, brewed like an ale. Red's Apple Ale. Pick different. Red's Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Great beer, great responsibility.
You will respect the authority. This is the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court on 590 The Man.
And we welcome you back in to the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court, live from the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store, 5632 Telegraph Road. Hey, our good friends at the Ernie Patty Collision Center. It's your one-stop shop for car repairs. Whether it's dents and body damage or engine problems, Ernie Patty Collision Center, 4823 Potomac, 314-752-0400. Everything from minor paintless dents to major collision repairs. And they'll do mechanical repairs from minor to replacement of engines and transmissions. Now, they'll do small stuff, too, for you, tire and wheel balancing, alignments. At the Ernie Patty Collision Center, they price it right. That's why they've been doing business in the same place for the same thing for over 25 years. 4823 Potomac, Gene Statt and his staff do it great. 314-752-0400. A direct repair for most major insurance companies. A lifetime guarantee on all workmanship and paint. And they've gone green with their paints. They're environmentally friendly, waterborne paints. Get your car back quickly at the Ernie Patty Collision Center. That's a big plus. You can watch the progress of your repairs online at ErniePattyCollision.com. 314-752-0400, the Ernie Patty Collision Center. All right, JoJo is up first in the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court. Hello, JoJo.
Hello, Kevin. I got a few things for you on baseball. You mentioned Gonzalez. The one thing he really screwed up on, and I think it was the last game or the game before, he failed twice to drive in a runner from third with less than 2 outs. You can't do that when you lead the league in RBIs.
That's exactly correct. And it was the first inning of the game, game 3, when he failed to do that. And he had 2 opportunities in that game, and foul out on one of them and a short pop out to shallow left field on the other one. So you're exactly right. And that's what I'm saying. Cardinal players come through in those situations, but the Dodger players never seem to.
Yeah, and I mean, like I said, it's any major leaguer should come through in that spot, but when you're the league leader, that makes it even worse. And the other thing, on one of the rare times I actually agree with what Major League Baseball did. I don't think Molina should have been suspended or kicked out of that game for the very simple reason. They finally used common sense instead of just looking at a rule. And what I mean by that is Molina wasn't upset. And again, I'm not condoning what he did. You're not supposed to touch the umps, okay? But there's a big difference, in my opinion, with a guy that is upset with an ump and pushes him compared to a guy being upset at a player and trying to get at him. And again, you're not supposed to touch him, but there is a difference, in my opinion, and that's what I think saved him. If he was upset at the ump and shoved him, they definitely would have suspended him. And I'm just glad that they used some common sense.
Well, your point's a good one, and you may well be completely correct in why they didn't kick him out of the game. Sometimes, of course, the umpires aren't they're emotional too, and they don't give it that much thought in the heat of the moment, and it's just automatic. You throw an umpire aside and push him like Molina did, and you're gone almost every time without fail. But I think I understand the different point you're making, and that he wasn't going after the umpire like he was going after the player. But, of course, he had his chance to get after Gonzalez before the umpire got in his way, and Molina's good at that. He instigates and then backs off and does a lot of yelling. He did the same thing in Cincinnati with Phillips, and he did it again in Los Angeles. He went all the way across the plate to Gonzalez when Gonzalez was in the batter's box. So, Molina's no angel. I know he walks on water around this town, but he's no angel, that's for sure. And by the way, Mattingly failed again miserably the other night when he did put Puig in yesterday as a pinch runner. You're a run down. This guy can steal a base. You've got to try. And by the way, had he stolen the base, Gordon got a hit, but instead of scoring, Puig was still on base. You've got to, you can't just say, oh, we can't steal the base. You've got to try in that situation. The odds of D. Gordon hitting an extra base hit there are virtually zero. But getting a base hit, well, he did get one, so they were pretty good.
No, I agree. And on the matchup with the Giants, and I know you brought up the Giants starting staff, I believe the Cardinals have a better starting staff. And I definitely think the Cardinals have the edge offensively. And do you disagree, or do you think it's even on the pitching staffs?
I don't think it's even at all. I think the Giants have a decisive edge in starting pitching. Decisive. I don't even think it's close.
And let me tell you why I disagree. I understand Hudson did come back with a good game. His ERA was over 9 in September, Kevin. I don't know what happened in September, but he gave up over 20 runs in 20 innings pitched. He got rocked. Granted, he did come back in the playoffs, so I don't know what we're going to see out of him against the Cardinals.
Well,
and the Vogelsong, like I said, but Vogelsong is a good pitcher. The only dominating guy they have is Bumgarner, their leader, Bumgarner. I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, it's Bumgarner.
The Cardinals pitching staff, I think, is a real big strength that's underrated. I think, therefore, it's definitely better than the Giants. But
well, hold on a second. Hold on.
On that one.
Hold on. You're ignoring some of the obvious stuff. You want to point out that Hudson struggled in September. So did Lackey. And Lackey came up with a very good effort on Monday night. Vogelsong, I don't know how you think Vogelsong is just okay. The guy is 4-0 in postseason play with an earned run average under 2. And he dominated the Cardinals when he pitched against them in postseason. So Vogelsong, to me, is their best pitcher right now in the postseason. Bumgarner's right there with him. And Jake Peavy is pitching like the Jake Peavy of old. I don't see where the Cardinals have an advantage. Adam Wainwright blew up against the Dodgers, and there's talk of his arm causing him trouble, whether it is or it isn't. It's certainly a concern. And I don't know how you can look at that and think the Cardinals have the edge. I don't see that.
And again, these are riffs. The Wainwright thing is valid. I'm assuming he just had a bad game and he's healthy and he will redeem himself. But Shelby Miller's pitching, when you count September, he's the best he's ever been. Lackey is solid in the playoffs, and he had a good start. And Lance Lynn has been solid all year. He's been the most consistent pitcher we've had. So, like I said, I'm not telling you it's a decisive edge, but if I had to pick between the two, I would not say that the Giants have the edge there.
Well, I think it's a decisive edge for the Giants. Now, both teams come through offensively with runners on base. So I think that's pretty much of a push. Both have good bullpens. So now it comes down to maybe who's going to make the bonehead move as a manager. The Giants have a huge advantage there.
No, totally agree. Bochy and Matheny, there's no comparison. The final thing I have is next year, with the rotation the way it's set up now, you have the 5 we presently have, plus Michael Wacha makes 6. And Jaime Garcia, I don't know if he is coming back, okay, but if he does,
they're 7. Do you envision a trade coming in the off season?
I'm missing your 6th.
Get rid of one of their starters.
I'm missing who your 6th starter was. Who did you? You got Wainwright.
The present 5 plus Waka.
Well, who's the present 5?
They got signed for next year.
Hold on. I'm counting 4. Wainwright, Lynn, Lackey, Miller. Who's your 5th?
Wainwright, Miller, Lackey. Hold on. Wow. Okay.
Lynn,
I made a mistake. Wait a minute.
No, you've got Lynn,
I
so
made
there's
an
your
error.
4.
My mistake. Okay. Waka is the 5th one. I was
okay.
wrong. Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
I got confused because of the playoffs.
Well, and I don't believe that you'll ever see Jaime Garcia pitch in a Cardinal uniform again. So I think you've got the 4 there as long as Lackey doesn't retire, and then you've got Waka, and I think that's your rotation, barring injury.
Right. Waka is your 5th guy, not the 6th guy. Brain fart on that one. Oh, I'm sorry. One final thing before I let you go, because I know you pay attention to these things. The Sunday game, the last game that the Rams had in Philly, were you surprised that the money went on the Rams from 7 to 4, 4.5? I could not figure that out.
I don't understand. Well, it's obviously money being played, but I don't understand how that happened either. There were a couple of other ones that had great movement last week that were very strange to me. You start to wonder what the heck's going on because you watch those and you think, wait a minute, that really changed. And that usually means a lot of money, but it takes a whole lot of money bet on one side to move a line that many points.
Yeah, because when I saw that, I was like, wait a minute, it doesn't make sense. I expected it to go up significantly more from 7. Not only did that not happen, it went the opposite way. That was the biggest surprise I've seen on a line move in a long, long time. Not that I'm always right in guessing, but I've never been that wrong on it. Where not only did it move, but it moved the opposite way very aggressively. I just thought it was strange.
I wonder if it was just a mistake. It could have been. But I'll tell you what, if it was a mistake and people jumped on it, it cost somebody a lot of money.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Kevin.
Thanks, JoJo. All right, time to take a break on the Pabst Blue Ribbon Gateway Buick GMC Kings Court from the Marshall Wireless Sprint Store on Telegraph Road. We're going to come back with the Window World Rewind, brought to you by the good folks at Window World. 314-993-1800 gets you a free in-home estimate at the home of the original $189 window guys. Any size wide vinyl double-hung windows, just $189. The Rewind is next, and that'll be Blues head coach Ken Hitchcock.
In the sports world, a good offense starts with a good defense. The professionals at Lakeside Roofing believe in this same motto for your roof. Our full-time service department provides the defense to ensure that you get the most out of your roof system. A regular schedule of roof assessment and maintenance will ensure that your roof will hold up to harsh environment, particularly spring, wind, and hail, as well as the overall aging process. Included in the inspection is a personalized preventive maintenance program specific to your roof system. This defensive strategy can extend the life of your commercial or residential roof for many years. Choose the winning team of professionals at Lakeside Roofing. We're a family-owned business that has built a solid reputation for excellent service from the initial call to the completed job. Call us today at 618-344-2800 or 314-241-5253. Or visit us on the web at lakesideroofing.com. That's lakesideroofing.com. Choose experience. Choose Lakeside.
I'm Kathy Cutis, part of the 4th generation of the Tom Cutis family. The Cutis family is here to personally guarantee that when the time arrives for funeral arrangements, no one will be pressured to make decisions that would not fit your family needs. Our trained, licensed funeral directors will answer your questions and you make the decisions. If you feel you are in a situation that does not give you the time to decide what is best